Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is Paul Flana. So we have something exciting for you today. So what we're going to be talking about is all about publishing, creating, and also monetizing a complete children's book on Amazon Kindle. And one of the biggest problems right now that I've noticed over the years, and even when you see the comments and stuff, is, hey, look, I get the idea. Okay, I know AI can create Kindle books, but I can go and do it, publish on Kindle. I also know that Amazon Kindle is a very big platform, but just show me step by step. Okay, what do I need to do? What do I avoid? And all that kind of good stuff. So we're gonna talk about that today. So it's not just about, okay, AI can create something, but more so, where can it be implemented properly and where can it actually drive results for you? Okay, that's what the focus will be step by step today. So pay attention, take any notes, and of course, the replay for this one will be available right after as well. So you can actually, because it's on YouTube, can go and rewind anything and go step by step after that. We'll also be posting this in our tutorials page for Artistly, because this is how you can use it with Artistly. So we'll talk about that as well. So, and we have a Q&A as well. So you see that chat as well. We're going to be answering questions as well as we go along. What we will do though is the question and answer period will come after the demo and the tutorial and the step-by-step training is done. So that way, you have an idea. Maybe that will cover your questions as well as we go along, just to avoid distractions so that you can actually later on come back and review this stuff. Now, again, the most important thing I want to mention here when we come to AI, AI is great. Yes, there's a lot of potential. Yes, it does make mistakes. Yes, it hallucinates. But the secret to leveraging AI right now is all about use cases. How do you actually go from A to Z or Z, depending on which part of the world you're in? How do you actually implement it? How do you get results with it? And more importantly, where and how do you actually go step by step to drive that result that you're seeking? Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about, and that's what the focus will be on, practical use cases of how you can use AI, right, going forward as well. And we are in a unique situation where we can actually train you on this because we've done this many times before. We've seen other users, other customers of ours as well do it many times before. So we can actually train you on this rather than just do guesswork. We can actually teach you step by step on this. And I want to stress this point because what we are seeing right now across the world, everybody says, oh, ChatGPT can do this, ChatGPT can do that, AI can do this, AI can do that, but nobody talks about how, right? And show me step by step how to do it. And this is what we're going to be focusing on today. Okay, so take notes, have any questions, we'll come back to it after the training, and then we're going to go step by step so no stone is left unturned, so to speak. But please understand that a lot of effort has been made on our part to basically finalize those nitty-gritty details to make sure that it simplifies things for you. We do it one time correctly, the world is your oyster. You can actually go and do your own way, your own stylistic elements, your own customization, and that sort of thing. So without any further delay, Yash, I'm going to pass it on to you. You can go ahead and do a step-by-step actual tutorial, if you will, on this, and actually walk us through how do I create a Kindle publishing book. How do I do one which sells? How do I do one which is in the hottest niches and markets? And what are some mistakes I need to avoid? And what are some good things I need to pay attention to that most successful customers and users of ours have done?
All right, wonderful. My voice is good? All right, everyone can hear me properly, right? All right, wonderful. I'm super excited for this masterclass because today I'll be showing you step by step. Take your idea, take your story, convert it into a children's book, properly formatting it, properly making sure that you follow all the requirements and rules by KDP or any other platform that you think. We'll talk about that as well. The main idea is keeping consistency in line, making sure it follows your story and all that cool stuff, right? And it's going to be step by step masterclass on this, right? So I want you to pay very close attention from start to finish. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we'll jump into some amazing stuff. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now, guys. So now let's look into this, how you can actually take your idea or your script and convert it into a beautiful KDP ready children's book. Perfect. So first of all, you got to come to the dashboard and you come to Fast AI Image Designer. we did some major upgrades in the AI Storybook Studio, right? So you click on that. Now you have two options. You can either convert your base idea into a storybook, or you can convert your script. Let's say you already have a story written and stuff like that, right? So what you gotta do is whichever option you want. Let's say I have already script, written, or let's say, Chat GPT, I want to use the script that I wrote from Chat GPT, or whichever AI I want to use this, right? So I will click on it. Now you gotta click on create new story, and now there are two options, okay? So starting with the characters, right? Who do you want to feature in your story? Will it be a real character like your grandson, your loved ones, or would you like an AI character, right? So that's what you need to decide first. So with both ways, let's say even if I go ahead with, let's say, this idea, right? Let's say I want this character, then you need to click on like cartoon style because it's a cartoon. If you were uploading, the human photo, like a real photo of a real kid, child, right? Then you would put their child name, the costume direction in detail, and the script. That's it, pretty much, right? There are some notes, and I just want to be very clear here, yeah? What is possible, what is not, and what we are working on, okay? Right now, whether you do AI character or you do script to reference photo, if you want to get best result, we already say that it works best up to 2 consistent characters. Going beyond 2 consistent character can lead to consistency issue for AI characters, right? Let's say where there's no character, where AI is generating the character for you. I know there is a request that one of the most common requests that we get is multiple character who are working on it. Once it is done, you will be able to upload, a lot of you want to create like twins, right? People are you want to have the granddaughter and you want to have the grandson, both of them in one storybook. It's working on it. It will come probably as a separate category or something here where you can drop multiple characters, right? Now, if you're using the reference photo, okay, make sure your uploaded image only has one person/character in it. Make sure, right? One of the mistakes that I commonly see is you have a character, but it's in a group, meaning a boy is there, a girl is there, and an animal is there. AI is not going to understand, right? The way it is designed currently, it's going to take that character image, right? The clothes, the top, the bottom, the facial structures and everything. It's going to understand of that one character, okay? If you upload more, it's going to lead with inconsistency issues. So just want to let you know. And yes, ability to support multiple character is coming very soon. Stay tuned for that. All right. So now, let's say I don't have any reference photo. I have a script that I already used Chat GPT to write it for me, and I want that to be converted into Storybook. All I will do is again come to script to Storybook, click on AI character, go to Chat GPT here, copy this thing. Okay, copy it, Control C if you're on Windows, Command C if you're in Mac, and then Control V, paste it. Very easy, simple stuff. Now what you have to do, this is the tip number 1, hack number 1. If you want to create KDP-ready children's book, you need to make sure that the dimensions that you pick kind of that works on that platform, right? And the dimension that I suggest you and the highly recommend you is 2:3. Note that down. That's the hack number 1, right? Now I know you're going to say, hey Yash, it is 1216 by 832 pixel. No. Amazon does not accept that. It accepts a higher resolution. Wait for a few minutes till you see the magic. All right, perfect. Now you can directly click on this, tick mark this book details option here, and you're gonna basically see like, okay, the book author and the book cover title. Meaning, if you want to put your pen name of the author that you created your store with, right, that you're running your business with, you can put it. And if you already have a title in mind, you can put it. If you don't, you can leave it as it is. AI is going to do the work for you. Here, I want my name, so I'm going to say Yash Sharma, okay? And then the book title, I want, let's say, I really don't know. I would let AI do its magic and I will hit generate. Now, what's gonna happen? Well, it's gonna first of all divide your script page by page by page by page by page, okay? And then it's going to create separately your cover image, so you don't have to, okay? And then what it's gonna do, it's gonna illustrate each page with character consistency, something that is not done in the market ever before, right? Now you're gonna see that those creations. Let me just see. All right, so as you can see, the images, one second, oops, the images started popping up and it's looking pretty good. Look at that. My entire story, the fantasy story converted with my cover image and everything, automatically ready to rock. So what's the next step, Yash, from here? So the next step, guys, is once you're in the personal designs, right? You have to, you get so many options here, right? Which is AI Storybook, multi-character, blah, 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 right? So you need to click on AI Storybook Studio, right? You will see all the images, but not just that, you're also going to see create flipbook option, okay? So when you click on create flipbook, and when you're gonna click on select, basically, with all the pages, they're gonna get this option called select story. So when you click on any one of that, automatically your entire from first page to the last page, it is going to get selected. And then what you will see, let me just show you, right? So what's gonna happen? So what is going to happen is your entire from page 1 till the last page, right? As you can see, it got selected like that, right? You don't need to do anything. Now, if you want to create like a different story, like, hey Yash, I don't want to select this, but I want to select a story that I have created previously, right? So what you gotta do is you have to untick it, uncheck it. So it's gonna uncheck all of it, scroll down and check the another part of the story, right? Like another set of pages. Then it's gonna select those appropriate pages automatically, right? Just so that it is very clear. It's fully automated. Now you have to follow this process in order to get the KDP ready, and I'll tell you why, right? So when you click on this, when you click on create flipbook, you're gonna put it's gonna automatically get the title, right? And if you want to change it to any language, you can come here. By the way, we're getting a lot of requests, and we are adding right now we have Filipino language, Hindi, Indonesian, Kannada, Persian, and all that. We are adding your languages as well, like Malay language. We get a lot of requests of. We get a lot of requests of Urdu. So we are working on. So just letting you know. Okay. Now what you gotta do is you can, if you want to just view them online with a read aloud narration, you can click on select voice and you can kind of pick the voices. But if you don't want to, you can keep it. Don't need to change it. Templates. So basically imagine templates are, your pages where your story will come, right? So what's gonna happen, so what's gonna happen is you can either click on browser built-in, you can upload it, or you can generate, right? If you upload, always make sure that the size and the dimension of that uploaded page template has to be 2:3, which is your actual pages that you created. Otherwise it won't work, right? But for now, I'm just gonna click on browse built-in. I'm just gonna go with blank, right? Blank suits every kind of style, right? Now front cover, you're gonna click from choose from library, and it's gonna show you everything here. What you gotta do is scroll down, pick that appropriate page. It's somewhere down here. Let me just scroll down more. Okay, so the door to Lumeria, right? Very good, very nice. And I'm going to click on generate flipbook. Now what it's gonna do, guys, okay, now here the things gets very interesting from now, right? what it's gonna do, it's gonna take that process and it's gonna send you to a flipbook page. Okay, now there you're gonna see magic. Okay, so we have automatically added a one-click button that is going to take all your pages and make it compatible and make it work and automatically convert it for ready to use KDP pages. How cool is that, right? But there's a trick there, right? If you create, okay, now this is the kind of button you will see, and I'll explain you, right? If you create stories in any other dimension other than 2:3, this button won't appear, because we don't want you to convert those pages which are not compatible with the size and dimension and resolution requirement of KDP. But only that 2:3 ratio, that dimension and the resolution perfectly fits with the magic, we call it, we did behind the scenes, so that you always get the perfect results. If you want this button, make sure the stories and the pages and the basically whatever you create has to be 2:3. Alright, now look at this. All you gotta do is click on it. That's it. That's it. It is automatically going to take all your pages, upscale them, by the way, it takes 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it can be less than that. But the idea is you don't need to do any of the hard work taking all the pages. Imagine you have like 30, 50 pages, right? How time consuming it is. Or upscaling all of them, for converting to 300 DPI and all those necessary resolution requirements, right? We automatically do it for you. How cool is this, right? And now, after some time, once this is, you can just go out for a walk, have fun, chill out. This AI is doing the work for you, and once it is completely ready, you're gonna see this blue button, ready to download KDP images. And all you gotta do is click on this, right? When you're gonna click on this, I just want to show you the interface. It's gonna create the zip file, right? And it is going to kind of basically take all those images, because there's tons and tons of images, right? Like, imagine, right, there are 31 pages, there are 31 images that are upscaled, that are converting to 300 DPI. So it will take its time to kind of process it, and it will take its time to download it, right? Now, while this is happening, I want to mention two very critical things that we get asked a lot, right? Which is, I'm gonna just refresh it for now, okay, because I already downloaded it, yeah. But the main thing I wanted to say is, now, hey Yash, my storybook does not follow the script that I've given it. Well, that's a issue, right guys? But we solve that as well. That means before you create flipbook, let's say you check it, right? You check each image. You can see which page number it is. You can see what the story text it is, like what story text it's going to go with this page, and you're gonna see the design prompt used for it, right? Now, if you're not happy with the image, you can edit the image with just one prompt. If you're not satisfied, for example, right, let's go to ChatGPT. That's it. In a small town nestled between vast forests and glistening rivers lived best friends Ethan and Claire. Well, my story is kind of different, right? I mean, it's a little bit more. Well, no worries. Come here, click on copy, go there, click on edit story text, Control A, right, select all, delete them, and paste it your new story. That's it. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna make sure that your updated story text is there, meaning it's on the page, so you don't have to worry about that, hey, it's not following, it's rewriting my story, I'm not happy with it. That we solved it forever. Okay, now one another thing I want to make sure here, which is very important, okay, is create flipbook option, that step, should always be the last step once you're satisfied with the image quality, what you want from the image, and the story text, right? Now, if you see, this is a page number 10, right? So you have to see where is a page number 2, right? Because there are multiple pages, right? And you gotta make sure that you follow the script properly. There's a page number 4, page number 5, I guess page number 3 is this, and page number 2 is this. Okay, so they were 12-year-old, grew up listening to their grandparents' amazing tales, right? But my story said both were 12 and both had grown up. So okay, I'm gonna copy this, I'm gonna copy it, I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to click on edit story text. I'm going to again paste it here and submit it. So what's going to happen in my new flipbook, when I'll show you the difference, okay? I'll show you how it what change it does, right? In my new flipbook, it is going to have this updated text always. Let me show you by creating a quick one so that you can see, right? I'm going to select the story, created the flipbook, click on this. If you don't click on it, you might be like clueless, right? Like, hey, where is the button? Where's the button? How can I convert it to flipbook, right? Always come to the AI Storybook Studio or any respective tab that you have used to create those designs, yeah? So I use AI Storybook, I click on it, then only this button will appear. When this button will appear, the select story option will appear. One click will solve all the problems. Click on create flipbook, browser built in, blank, front cover, I'm gonna just choose for this now, and generate the flipbook, right? And I just want to show you the difference, okay? I want to show you like what difference the previous one will make. See, our images are ready to download that we just created, right? Now, what's the step after that, Yash? Like what are we gonna do after this? It's gonna download some bunch of images. How are we going to make sure that they are ready to be uploaded on KDP? Don't you worry about that. I'm gonna show you just a bit, okay? So I'm gonna show read. Actually, I will just go back here. 1 second. Alright, so I'm just gonna click on this, and I wish I can open this in a new tab. Just gonna duplicate this tab, yeah, and I want to open the I just want to show you, right, like what difference it will make, right, so that we are on the same page kind of stuff, right? So let's wait once this is done, but while this is getting done, you get it, right? So let me recap what's happening, okay? Step number 1, come to AI Storybook. Next step, you have an idea, click on this. You already have a story, click on this. Then click on new story. Then if you already want to use your existing characters, right now we support one character at a time. We are working on multiple characters. You can have cartoon characters, or you can turn your real photos, like your child photo, into a cartoon, like a lead character. You can do that. If you don't have any character, you can pick the AI character, drop in your story, pick the dimension, which is 2:3. Put your book details, like the author, like your author, correct author name and a correct title. And then what you have to do, 1 second, is just generate. AI is gonna do all that, right? Then after that, come to personal designs. Then click on the respective tab that you use to create all the designs. I'm gonna click on this. Before you do create flipbook, just check all the pages with their number and the story text, so that you know that I want to have this story. There's no spelling mistakes. There is no, you get my point, right? There's no spelling mistakes or words. AI is rewritten it for you, kind of like that. You don't need to worry about that. You can change it once you're satisfied with the images and the story text. Then click on create flipbook, select story, pick the language. If you want a voiceover on a flipbook, you can. Pick the page template where the story will appear. Pick your front cover, pick your back cover, and generate the flipbook. For now, front cover is already there, so you can just pick that and create the flipbook. Then come to my flipbooks. And when you come to my flipbooks, what you're gonna see? You're gonna see something like this. Like read, like your flipbook is getting generated. You can download it into PDF. You can read them online. I'm gonna show you how that will work, and you can also download the KDP-ready assets so you can publish them. Okay. Now I just want to show you. This is the older version, right? Which is in a small town, Willow Creek, best friends Ethan and Claire. But this, look at this. It has the text that we want. You see? That is the power, right? So you can properly customize and personalize Storybook if the results come out to be not perfect of what you want. Okay? Pretty clear, pretty solid. Then you click on download KDP ready images. Then you wait for whatever it is, right? 5, 10, 20 minutes, because it's doing all the hard work for you behind the scenes. And then this type of button will come. Now what is the next step, Yash? So you have to download it first in your local computer, okay? And it's gonna download a zip file. You've got to unzip it. Then there's a creator tool called Kindle Create. It's a free tool by Kindle Direct Publishing, helping authors just like you, right, to convert their ebooks, to convert their ebooks, trim their ebooks to perfectly kind of make it in the KPF format or the EPUB format that it accepts, right? So what you gotta do is you gotta click on it and you will go to this page, right? So if you're on Mac, you're gonna download the Mac version. If you're on Windows, then you gotta download the Windows version. It's a free to use. You can basically view the view the book, how it's gonna appear. You can change the flow of it. You can literally see the replica of how it's gonna come out when it's gonna print, and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff for absolutely free, right? There are some minimum requirement which we all have, like the Windows 10 and some RAM and whatever it is, right? But it's basic format, like it's a basic software, desktop software that you gotta download, that is directly by Kindle Direct Publishing. That's gonna help you to kind of convert that. I'm gonna show you how it works, okay? But for that, what you gotta do is you gotta click on Kindle Create, okay? You gotta go to Kindle Create, search it on Google. The first link that comes, go to that, download it if you're on Windows, the first option, download it if you're on a Mac, the second option, right? Now once you download it, something like this is gonna appear, right? Hey, Kindle create beautiful Kindle books. From here, you gotta follow these steps, very, very important, okay? You gotta click on create new, okay? Now, you gotta click on choose, okay? Now, it gives you, do you want the reflowable type? Are you creating comic books? Are you creating children's book? Or are you creating print replica? In our case, we are creating the kids children's book, right? So I'm gonna click on this and then I'm gonna do continue. Then you have to put the book title, the author name and the publisher, right? Whichever you have signed up for. So make sure you fill in the details appropriate with your information. This is optional, completely optional. If you don't want to put it, you can just click on continue, but make sure if you're using a specific pen name for the author, make sure you choose that, right? Now, what you need to do is click on continue, and there are some options. In the reading options, you will notice a guided view and the virtual panel, right? So what is reading option? Let's see. A reading option is basically allow readers to experience through book. So always make sure it is guided view. Reading direction will always be left to right, and basically page view will always be facing pages. So whatever is default, just stay there, right? Now what you have to do, guys, is you have to click on these two. Oh, one second. I came back here. I'm gonna click on continue. Again, continue. And choose files, right? So it accepts PDF, it accepts JPG, and it accepts PNG. So when you clicked on download KDP images, what happened behind the scenes? It took each of your page, converted and upscaled it to the perfect resolution that fits on all devices, and that's according to the KDP requirements, number one. Number two, it automatically converts into 300 dpi so that it does not get rejected, and it automatically do the fine tuning and the some polishes that is required that would easily take like a couple of hours for you to do it manually. It all does that in just single click. All you gotta do is click on choose files, right, and come into that folder where you have uploaded your where you have uploaded your what I'm trying to say, right, is the zip file, right, where you have your zip file unzipped. You will see all this. You won't see these guys because as we are speaking, we're making these changes in your account. You will see the page number linked to it, so you can properly segregate them. But anyways, you really don't care. You just gotta just like literally put your computer, like put your mouse, and just save everything, right? Just select anything and just open. Now, why I am saying that, I will show you right now, right? I selected all my pages, even including the cover image. It is okay, you can delete that later, but that's the idea, right? So I'm gonna click on thing. Now, don't worry, it is very very simple to use. I'm gonna make sure that you don't get you don't get overwhelmed with this, but you're gonna get pages like these, okay? Generally, these are not formatted for you, okay? So what I would suggest you guys is, okay, let's start one by one, right? So, because there's so many things to play here, right? All you worry about, guys, honestly speaking, is just the single page and the facing page. Now see what's gonna happen, right? When I click on this section, this entire section gets selected, right? And it's a facing page section, right? Meaning each of these pages are facing each other. You have got to click on single page, right? Just segregate all the sections into single page if there are. It's gonna make your life so simple. Whenever there are two pages, just go there. It's a facing page, just click on single. Just come here, make it single. Just come here, make it single. Come here, make it single. And then again, come here, and make it single. I'll tell you why, right? Make it single, right? So basically, you get all your page. Okay, come here. So when you just click on it, automatically both of those pages get selected, and just click on single page. You see where I'm creating the single page, right? Like here, the page type, the single page, automatic. So let's say I come to these two images and I'm clicking single page. Now, why I am doing what I am doing, right? It's gonna divide your pages like these. So I'm come here and I'm doing single page. I'm coming here, and I'm doing single page, right? It's kind of dividing each of these pages in one by one. Now, all you have to do, okay? All you have to do, you can again delete and whatever you want, but all you gotta do is either you can click on this, you can say insert page, delete, resize, crop, and replace. You have these options. You don't have to do it. It's just pure drag and drop. You gotta go to open your Chrome again, okay? And here, click on read, okay? Click on read. Now, what you have to do is what's my first page will be, yeah? Okay, first page will be the title. I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna just drag it to the very top, right? It's kind of their platform is kind of all over the place, and it's like, oh, they're very update, like all over the place, meaning like the UI is a little bit learning curve there, but be with me, right? It's very simple once you kind of get a flow with this. Just make sure this is this is the thing. You can like do this, and just make sure before you do anything, whenever there are two double facing pages, you click on it and you click on single, right? Just divide them into single pieces. It's gonna help you a lot, okay? And then, okay, there are no double pieces right now, and there are only single pieces. So let's take our cover and let's put it at the top first page, right? Just like how you do it. So take it up, go up, take it up, go up, take it up, go up, take it up, go up. It's I know it's like that because it's like a screen here. It can't get minimized, otherwise I would have just done it clearly. But you get you get the idea, right? Take this, scroll up. Take this, scroll up. Take this, scroll up. Just gonna go like that. I'm almost done. Like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. Alright, so that's my first page. What's the second page, right? Second page is the girl looking at the mountain. Oh, sorry, the moon. Where is the girl looking on the moon? Da 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 da. Okay, there's the girl looking at the moon. Where is it? Here, she's on the 25th page. Take her at the top. Perfect. Awesome. I just gonna show you right as I'm doing it so that you know how easy it is, right? I would have just skipped to the like process that I did final, but I want you to see the whole process so you don't get like overwhelmed, right? So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do this. We're almost there. Each page, like I'm telling you guys, each page you take it to the top, the satisfaction it's gonna give you is next level, right? Like you're finally getting closure to your final book, which is really good feeling, to be honest with you. Yeah, you can probably relate it with it, right? It's been a while since you saved. Would you like to save your process? Remind me after an hour. Thank you, Kindle Create, for reminding me. Awesome. So I'm just gonna do this. So first page is this, second page is this. You just treat this as a third page, right? Once in a land where the night sky touched. Go to Kindle and see where is the once in a land, right? Once in a land. Da, 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 da. Where did it go? Where? Okay, once in a land. It's on 24th. I wish Kindle had some like basic functionalities that are better, but okay, whatever it is, there's some processes, right? We gotta follow with their system because it's always be perfect, right? So, and then I'm telling you, right, as we are talking, let me know how are you. Like, I hope you got a lot of value so far, right? I mean, this thing you give it like 5-10 minutes with pure focus, and you can get done with it. You know what I'm trying to say? As I'm speaking, you can see it's a fun process, right? Like taking piece by piece, bits by bits, right? Okay, so that's my third page. First page, second page, third page. What is my fourth page? Fourth page is the star, the girl with the star. So I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna click on the girl with the star. Where is it? The girl with the star. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll like that. Okay, the girl with the star. Okay, so that is already at the place. Yeah, it saved my time. Good. One evening while sitting by the river. Okay, one evening. Da 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 da. One evening. Where did one evening went? There you go. It's on 24th. It's very crazy how all the pages aren't on 24th. So funny. Anyways, we're gonna take it up. We're gonna take it more, and then more, and then, okay, oops, my bad, and more, and then more, and then there you go. We're almost there. Alright, so this should be, I guess, that after that night one, right? I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. Alright, so this should be our fifth page. Okay. First page, second page, third page, fourth page, and fifth page. And you rinse and repeat until the end. Pretty clear, right? Pretty solid, pretty much very simple and easy to do, right? Now let me tell you, once you finish with all this, what you gotta do, right? Because that's what's important, right? Now you want these pages to be facing each other, right? Because that's how it's gonna appear because otherwise if the reader is going to read it in the in the vertical format, it's just gonna show one pages. You want both of them pages if they are reading it horizontally, right? So what you gotta do is, excluding the cover image, every page image, right? Every page image, you click on it and you click on facing page. So what it's gonna do, guys, it's gonna add that respective page after it. So it's gonna appear like simultaneously. You see what I'm trying to say? And it's gonna come here, face. You see? Come here, face. You see how the story and everything. Now let me show you, right? Let me preview that so that you can see, right? I'm just gonna cancel it. I'm gonna preview it again. Check this out, right? So orientation, these are this, these are this. This is how it's gonna appear on each. How cool it is. You see? Because see, when there are no facing pages, it appears like this. It will appear good on the vertical, but it's not on the horizontal, obviously, right? And so that's the thing. That's why I make sure it's facing page, and then you can just delete it. And 1 second, I mean, you can just cancel it, and then again, right? Arrange it, click on facing. Arrange it, click on facing. Okay, arrange it, click on facing. Now let's preview it, and you're gonna love it, right? Boom, 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 boom. Look, isn't it crazy, right? That is the power of this, right? And everything is ready, perfect to upload it on KDP with dimensions, resolution, DPI, this, that, everything, right? And now what you gotta do once you're done with this, guys, right? You can export. So you can export your Kindle. So let's say I'm gonna just export it here. It's gonna export it in the KPF format that Kindle Direct Publishing accepts. And boom, it's packaging the project, ready to publish. And check this out, right? Hey, your file is ready to publish. Upload your KPF file on Kindle Direct Publishing to publish an ebook on the Kindle store. You can test your book before uploading. You can upload and publish your book, and you can make more changes onto a published book. And that's it. It's gonna give you that file, right? Show KPF folder. It's gonna give you this folder, right? So it's gonna give you like a folder like this. This is your KPF file. Let me show you, right? Let me just zoom it in so that you can see. This is the KPF file, and this has all the things that you ever wanted to publish your first ever book on Kindle in just, less than 30 minutes, I would say, right? And then you got everything sorted step by step by step for your thing. How cool is that, guys, right? Let me know. I'm just so excited to see your comment. And now it's time to get your questions, and because I wanted to go through the step-by-step crisp version, but now it's time to see your questions, and let's get your questions answered now. And I hope you got it. Let me know in the comments. I hope what do you think about, let me just rephrase it. What do you think about this training so far, right? I hope you got a lot of value, because something this has never been possible before without using artistry, right? So it's all because of you. Now let's get into your questions, right? Any questions, any queries, if you want me to repeat, recap, anything, whatever you want. So all right, so let me just stop sharing my screen. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's very powerful, right? Now there's one another update I want to make that the developers just pinged me. I went through all that drag and drop. It's a little time taking, right? We fixed that for you with this update, right? So Paul, you can cover some questions. I'm getting that file downloaded right now, and I'm gonna make that process like 10 times simpler, so you don't have to drag and drop, right? So you can cover the question.
Yeah, I'll answer like one of the questions. So this one was quite common. So downloading zip is taking a while sometimes. How do we fix it, right? So because when you download all the entire book, it's going to be, let's say 30 images or whatever amount, and the book cover and all that. So basically, it's not an issue on our end. What is the issue is sometimes browsers take a long time. And if you have like a spotty Wi-Fi connection or whatever, sometimes there's some what's called packet loss. In other words, what happens is it's downloading at 44% or whatever, and that zip file, some disconnection occurred or browser timed out or whatever happens. So this is how we're going to be fixing it. So what we're planning on doing is we're going to give you an option to basically effectively do something, okay? Which is you can email, okay? whenever that zip is downloaded or whatever, we're going to email you a link. You click on that link and download it effectively. Okay. That will solve this problem because the advantage there is that the file is ready to go and it emails you once that whole packaging of the zip and all that stuff is done. Okay. So that's going to be pushed sometime next week. So that'll solve a lot of this type of question. This also for Storybook downloads. It's for anything where you're bulk downloading, right? Or bulk downloading a bunch of images or you're exporting a bunch of images and stuff like that. And in line with this, the other thing we're going to be doing is when you export it, we're also planning on giving you the prompt as well. As a part of that image. Okay. So that way, let's say 6 months from now, whatever, you want to make sure that you wanted to, let's say, know what prompt was used to regenerate that image or that storybook style or whatever, you can do that. Okay. Now, the other question that came in that I kind of wanted to answer was something along the lines of, let's say, for example, can I edit an image or edit the storybook text? Okay. So in other words, if let's say I created a storybook, right? 30 pages or whatever. I don't like page number 25 because something was off, but there's whatever. So you can edit it. Let's say the text in it was not accurate or whatever. You can edit only that image, let's say on that page under the personal designs area. And then you can basically tweak it, like change and add a beard for that person or that character or whatever. You can do that. Or there's also a new feature where you have something called edit storybook text. This is where, like half of it is the image and then the other half is the text element. Same concept. So here, let's say the text, the script that was written was a little bit, you got to change some of the text or something before you convert to the flipbook, let's say. That allows you on an image by image level. Okay. That's the other thing that we've added in as well to simplify things for you. That's also in personal design. So meaning when the 30 images are generated, basically that's there. Okay. Yash, you want to go ahead or you want me to answer some more? You're muted. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just need 5 more minutes and getting the files downloaded. It's live.
Okay, cool. So the other thing was about this, okay, which I posted the tip on. So 2:3 aspect ratio is best for Amazon Kindle publishing, but Etsy is slightly different, okay? So every platform is different in terms of their aspect ratios that they require. So in cases like this, what we would suggest is just create one for Amazon Kindle, one for Etsy, and just recreate the process, okay? Instead of like trying to edit what you already created into a different dimension, it's just going to be messy. Just go create another work in that dimension is suggested, okay? Now, the other thing as well that I kind of wanted to mention here is, Yash, I want to ask you as well, you can chime in. Are we able to, like, this is one of the questions, I just literally copy pasted this. Are we able to do this with consistent characters? Like, for example, if I want to create a book with both of my children or my children and the dogs as inspiration, the stylized, is this being able to be done with KDP? How do I do it?
100%. So right now what I created is I turned my story into a book, right? That those are AI characters, right? But with this approach, you can actually go to a reference photo option there, drop in that image. Right now we support one character at a time. We're working on multiple character, so you can have a twin, you can combine two characters and all that. So right now you can drop in like a real photo, and it's going to work it's going to convert that into a different style and you can use that. So 100% that consistency is there. Another thing that I wanted to show you, now I kind of got that here. Let me just, if I can, 1 second, let's just open that up. All right, I'm just gonna start it from scratch for you guys, right? So any questions other than this so far?
Yeah, one other question was this, okay? For example, something related to this. Is it possible to maintain consistency of characters across different flipbooks? Let's say, for example, I want to create version 1, volume 1, let's say, volume 2, volume 3, right? How do I go about doing something like this? Is it a feature that's available right now or coming soon?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So right now, yes, if you created one character and if you want that throughout pages, you can just create it and have a set of storybooks, right? But if you want multiple characters in the storybook that follows your reference, that's coming out. Where we allow you up to 3 uploaded characters, right? And I just kind of got this now, so I'm going to show you what I mean by that, right? So generally, right, as I'm seeing your questions, right? I'm going to share my screen. Let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible, Paul? Right? It is, right? Okay. Wonderful. So you see, I got these, right? So I got these kind of images, right? So you see, now when you download the image, okay, it's gonna say something like this: a cover page, okay, page one image, page one story, page two image, page two story, page three, and stuff like that. So you know what you can do, guys, is come to Kindle Create, okay, click on continue, click on continue. Okay, by the way, if you're self-publishing it, you don't just leave it, right? And there are two more questions that will come to that, right? So author name, put your pen name, book title, whatever it is. I'm going to just continue, keep everything as it is, click on choose files, okay, click on choose files, and then click on cover image. For example, just load the cover image, right? Don't load other images, right? So I just loaded this, for example, right? Then what you do, right click on it, insert page, do the page one image. Easy peasy. Yeah. Right click on it, insert page, do the page one story. Easy. Okay. Right click on it, insert page, do page two image. You know the flow, right? And you got the flow, right? Right click on it, insert page, page two story, right? And let me just follow over like one or two more pages, and then you can kind of see page three, importing, right click, page three text, right? Page three story. Now what you can do, these are single facing, as I already explained you, right? Now what you can do, now you want to combine that to be able to view it in the, like, the tablet and stuff like that. So what you have to do, click on that first page, like the actual story where it starts, exclude the cover, and we're going to come about the back cover and the author page. You can add them, but yeah, click on this first where the story is starting and just make it facing. That's it, right? So it's gonna say that right now what happened is I just use the normal image, right? But when I just use the folder that I already got downloaded before the training. But when you download it right now, it will be updated. It won't fade. You won't have this issue, right? So you can kind of see, confirm the crop, whatever it is. You don't have to worry about that, right? Just click on facing, right? So resize page larger. Let's say I'm just going to do this, right? Confirm resize. You don't have to follow it, but you just click on the facing page, right? So it's going to make your page together. And when you're going to view it, right, it's going to appear something like this. You see? It's going to appear like that. You have to do with all the other pages, right? Facing pages. Let's say crop to match. For the time being, I'm doing it. You won't have this issue, right? Because we fixed that. That's why I didn't show that right now. We just fixed it, So resize page smaller for the time being, yeah. And then again, click on facing. Boom. Now let's see the preview. It's gonna look like this. You see the power? That is the power, right? And that's what's gonna happen. So you don't have to let me just stop sharing my screen. Yeah, so that you don't have to like bulk download it, bulk rearrange it and stuff like that. You can just see it right there. And again, right, this is again, as the part, right, we were thinking about this is a part of a beta launch, right? It would, like, by the time it would come to you, it would have already took easy peasy like couple of months, but we wanted to give you that instantly. So any issue you get, right, just let us know, right? I'll be on top of it, right? If you face any issues and not being able to find your file, or whatever it is, as Paul already mentioned, we're working on, so that directly in the email you get the zip download functionality where you get the zip folder to your email, so you have to keep checking it. And all the images, right? So the image ratio that these gets created in is 2560 by 1260, something like that. You can check it. This is the exact ratio, that Kindle accepts, right, for the cover pages and all that, and it does the cover pages, right? Now there are two quick things, right? Yash, what about the author page and what about the back page, right? Because it's much about the author and all that. What you can do, right, is you can separately create that, because so much paragraphs there, so much text there, you need your picture there and all that. You can customize that, make it 2:3, yeah, make it 2:3, come to upscaler, up the AI bulk action, just upscale and 300, make it 300 dpi, and it will work perfectly, right? Or you can you can make sure that it fits the perfect ratio, which is 2:5. Let me actually.
Yeah, and we're gonna add this as a tutorial for you guys in the tutorial space, so don't worry about it in case you're kind of like, where's the upscaler? What is he talking about? Don't worry, you're gonna do that. This is like a beta feature, like he mentioned, we just added in, and literally while he was live, actually, what I wanted to add was a couple of questions came in. I actually noted it down here. Right, adding page numbers so that we can easily do it. Was one question like this one. Another one, can't we just add each page one by one instead of adding everything at once, then reorganizing it? And we saw the questions and actually implemented it live, which is kind of exciting for us because we want to improve based on what you see, right? And so in a way, all the tutorials are like the demo and the step-by-step that we did kind of is more easier now, right? If you think about it, and we'll only make it more streamlined. Just want to mention as well, this is the point. Somebody posted this. I want to make a note as well. So just to clarify, KDP doesn't accept flip books that we create. Flip books are a link, right? The flipping pages. It only accepts standard print files or ebook files. And flipbooks are web-based viewers, right? Not valid formats for publishing. So meaning when you do the flipbook with narration and stuff, that's for you to share, right? For others to actually go with narration and stuff. You can't really take that same thing and publish to Kindle because Kindle has its own format. Now, what I want to mention here, a couple of questions came in about why can't we just do PDF or why can't we just upload like that format? Well, just want to explain to you so you understand, okay? When it comes to kids and children's storybooks and this sort of stuff, it's more visual in nature. A lot of people like physical books that they'll buy. They'll not buy an ebook. What are they going to do with an ebook? To print it in the printer and whatever, and it's not useful. And Amazon, that's why I personally like Amazon, is that they have an entire ecosystem to print stuff, right? So for example, let's say I wanted to not only publish a book, I want to make sure it's a physical book. So I give an ebook download option, but also a printable option. Amazon will actually print it, ship it, and actually deliver that whole thing from their warehouses. Okay, that makes a big difference because I believe there's a minimum value you want to put to that book. I think $7 or so. It keeps changing all the time based on, inflation, costs, and all that kind of stuff. So that means at that point that with that shipping and everything is included for that value. So you can price the book $20, $15, whatever it might be, and you'll still make a profit on top of it. But more importantly, you have something that is forever in physical form. You never have to worry about the distribution side of things. Okay. I kind of wanted to stress this point. Okay. Back in the day, I'll just make a note about this, right? Why Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, right? In particular, why not Etsy? Why not something else, right? So why this? Okay. Just want to mention here. Back in the day, like this was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I used to publish and make a lot of money CD-ROM drives, okay? We used to actually put ebooks or like whatever stuff and sell them on eBay, sell them on other places, okay? Software, whatever. One of the biggest problems we used to have when it comes to courses or physical products was the delivery of it, okay? Because what you'd have to do is you would have to order 500,000 and stuff like that, like in huge volume, before you ship it over to end users or end customers, let's say. And nobody has the money. Let's say, for example, even if it's $7 to $10 each to create the cost, you're buying 500 of them. That's right there, 5,000, right? Or $10,000 in minimum cost that you gotta outlay, whether you sell a single book or not. Amazon changed that dynamic completely, where what they're saying is, look, even you sell one, two, it doesn't matter. We're going to have a minimum value you're going to have to put, which is going to be costing for us to warehouse them, ship them with direct, the Amazon Prime shipping, which is going to be in a day or whatever. It's going to reach in many places, sometimes within hours in some other places. So we're going to give you that distribution, right? What does that mean exactly for you? It means you don't have to worry about that aspect of it, okay? The biggest problem people have is either spending 5, 10, 20,000 to get inventory. That is solved here. Secondly is the reach, okay? It's not easy to market a book, okay? I know billionaires who publish books. They go around in podcasts and YouTube influencers with like 100 views, 1,000 views and stuff because they got to market their stuff, and that's not easy, right? Not all of us have all that energy, time, resources, connections to go and, go to all these media networks and stuff to sell, like, go to Oprah, for example, or whatever, just to sell our books. So the better distribution is here. And the way I want you to think about it is, who's the target market here? When you're publishing children's book, it's parents for the buyers, not the children. They don't have a credit card. They don't even know how to speak, most of them. So what do parents want? They want something that they can physically touch and feel, right? And so that is basically the general idea when it comes to these things. Okay, so hope that is clear. I'll actually pull up some stuff that you can create and some techniques you can do in just a second. I'll bring it up to you because I have the physical books here in just a second, and why it is so powerful. Okay, and how we'll keep improving the platform to get it to that level, because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these are gifted. Okay, a lot of these children's books actually gifted for birthdays, for holidays, or let's say let's say, for example, for like Christmas, right? That sort of thing, because people don't want their kids to be digitally in front of their phone all the time. I don't. Nobody does, right? Grandparents, parents, uncles, aunts. So it's a very good way to do that. Yes, we're going to say the second thing. I kind of cut you off. Go ahead about this one.
Yeah, what was I saying? Can you remind me?
So basically, you were effectively saying, okay, we solved that issue for you when it comes to the book covers, right? Where you can
Oh
go
yeah,
put in
yeah,
upscaling and that kind of thing. I said there'll be a tutorial for that. Then the next thing, yeah.
exactly.
And I'll
So
bring some books for you folks so I can show you some examples just right now.
yeah,
Okay, just give me a sec.
yeah. So that's why, where now what happens is author pages, back cover pages, a lot of text and stuff like that. So what I suggest you, honestly, you got all these 90%, 95% of your images done anyways, right? What you do is you create those two images separately, right? You can use the advanced editor, just add some text, add the paragraph, add about yourself, author page and stuff like that. Get it. You can go to AI design assistant and upscale it, right? Or you can go to AI bulk action, get the thank you page, the author page, and the back cover page, whatever you name it. Go to bulk action and kind of like upscale it and basically upscale it and change it to 300 dpi. Make sure when you actually create that author page, it is also 2:3 or whatever ratio, right? So I was just pulling that ratio, right? Is what is that ratio that these final images are in, so that you can they're actually print ready and stuff like that. So I'm just 1 second. I'm just gonna get it. It was in top of my mind and I forgot. It is 2560 by 1260. I don't quote me on that, but yeah, 2560 by 1600. So that's the thing. So recommended size is 2560 by 1600. That is the final size of images that you're gonna get with 300 dpi. Nothing to kind of customize it and everything, right? All you need is those two pages, right? Is thank you page and the author page that you can custom build it, and you can kind of build it in that aspect ratio. So that's the thing, right? And that's the power, right? Now think about this, right? Previously we took that, right? A lot of you guys have requested that, hey, this is not KDP ready, I can't publish it directly, there's no use case, right? So now it is, right? That's one thing. Second thing, we talk about character consistency. There is nothing in the market right now that creates the character consistency, character storybooks, and all this in one click. Because I know that, because that was a frustration from before we got all this idea. That was my frustration, right? I'll tell you the manual process, right? So okay, you got this tool, right? You got your image generation. You got to first come up your script. You can use Chat GPT. Now comes the fun and the hard part. Now sit and you got to create one page at a time, the story page and the image page, and then do all the thing, And let me tell you, to get the perfect creation, it would easily take 2 to 10 recreations, right? Because first time the page does not come good, the characters not consistent, stuff like that. Now just one click, and that's the thing, right? And we talk about character consistency, and you can let me your definition of character consistency. But the idea of character consistency is the characters are looking perfectly consistent from their hair to their toes, right? Is if you're not getting the character consistency at this point, I think there is some changes in their workflow that you gotta make, but we have crafted it that it's the state of the art right now. Nobody, even we name all the big right, Mid Journey, Chat GPT, Gemini, even for the sake of it, right? Because not built in that format, right? You gotta manually create those images, and again, prompt after prompt after prompt alteration. I've been there. This specific feature, we didn't have AI design agents before, right? This specific feature came from the frustration that I had one day where I literally had to sit for 6 hours to finish a 10-page book. You know why? Because the character goes inconsistent, the style goes inconsistent. I gotta create each of those pages separately, and then I gotta bring this on, and my prompts are not good, so I gotta work on my prompt, going back and forth. Just a massive time loss and not efficiently. And then I decided I'm going to build something, and with your feedback, with the help of our amazing team and your guidance and your we are at where we are right now, and we are constantly improving, right? Adding multiple character upload functionality, so you can upload multiple characters and get it done. So that's the thing, and I'm always open for your suggestions, for your feedback, for your constructive criticism. Just let us know, right? And we'll fix it, right? So that's why one thing to add here is, again, this is a beta feature. Any issue that you have, you can email the support directly, mention that this is the thing I want you guys to know, or you can tag me on the meta group. I will definitely let it and work on top of it, right? And there are some serious upgrades coming, which for some reason I can't share it, will be coming to you very shortly, with taking all your requests and being able to use it not just on KDP but on other multimedia platforms. So I'll give the mic to you.
So I'll pass it on here. I'll talk about the most pressing question. You want me to answer this question? What are some hot niche markets to publish children's books on? Okay. And actually, this has been going, like, I've been doing some research on this myself for a while now. And as a parent myself who is enjoying buying so many books, like I have like around 200 children's books that I personally purchased to give, to use it for my own, right now, 14-month-old son and that sort of thing. So couple of points I wanted to mention. Okay. Think of it from the perspective of the end user. Okay. One of the mistakes people always make is you're actually thinking of it like, I want to make the greatest, most beautiful book or whatever, but not looking at the target market. What is the target market? So imagine, okay, so for me personally, what I'm looking at is something that I can connect with my, with the baby, right? With my son, let's say. So one of the things is we both are, just for fun, right? In the horoscope market, let's say, like we're in the dragon year, let's say, right? So this is one of them. Okay. So this is, well, how do I reverse it? Just give me a sec. I'll shift this one sec so you guys can see. But anyway, so this is basically a dragon year thing in the Chinese horoscope, right? So this father and son share it, just ironically. It just so happened to be. So we basically share it that way. So like, just give me a sec, right?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, while Paul is fixing up the camera and kind of show you the zoom in functionality, let me know if you have any questions, any doubts, anything. Because now think about this, right? Like, my childhood dream has always been converting my drawings into a storybook. Yeah.
All right, so here you go, right? So it's your year, baby dragon, right? So effectively, so this is what you share connection wise. So horoscope, very good market to get into. So let's say, like Libra, let's say you go for like anything, right? Chinese is this one. You can go to like Scorpio or like whatever, right? You get the point. There's many different horoscopes or whatever, astrology, you get the point, that which you can share. So for example, one of the things that I like about the book as a personal thing is, for example, I'll show you this part. Okay. This book is very tiny. It's not many pages long at all. I'll show you this part right now so you can clearly see it. But it's just a question of like trivia, right? You can go in and you can share different areas. So this one, you see this right here? So like you see, okay, what are the dragon years? You're going for 1987 is what's called a fire dragon and all that, right? So what our plan is that eventually in the next updates, we're going to make it so that you can create pages like these, right? With multiple images and stuff like that. But you get the point, right? This is a very big market that you can go after because horoscopes is one. The other one that is pretty good is basically towards the idea of animals, right? To teach kids on what animals, like for example, this is one where like you have a baby boy and then you got another one, which is the kitten, right? So you're talking about kittens, and you're talking about like teddy bears. And you see this is another example. Like you have the photo here, which you can create. And then the other one is like you see this, there's a teddy bear here. And hopefully you can see the text here, right? Baby or a bear cub, that sort of thing. Okay, you get the point. So this is really, really good as well. So the idea is that animals, one of the alphabets, teaching kids alphabets, numericals, that sort of thing, basic math, for example, anything that is educational in nature, but also kind of fun to share, right? So for example, if we are trying to, let's say if I want to gift somebody something, I want to make sure that it's an adventure that we're doing together, or it's something related to their birth date, or that's something related to the month they were born, or the uniqueness of the year they were born. Like, let's say, for example, on that day they were born, let's say penicillin was invented. That's something interesting for them to know, for them to buy. You know what I mean? I would love to buy books on that so they know that, okay, I'm special. I was born and that's basically on that special day, for example. You got to look at it from that perspective, okay? Most of the stuff comes into two categories I'm going to mention here so you folks can understand it easily. So one is gifts. And then the other one is basically where you're trying to have parents share special moments, right? So I'll write this down so you folks can actually understand it. All right. So basically gifts and parents share moments. So for example, if I want to share like a moment where, let's say, my son and I or baby and I were in the beach and you had a lot of fun, that will be a story that you'd want to share. An aunt and uncle will want to share that, right? Or grandpa, grandma. Second thing could be something I want to give as a gift. That would be numericals, math, science, something interesting, astronomy, something that could be horoscope, fun related that you want to share. These are the markets. A perfect example, like this one right here is a perfect example, right? It's like as I mentioned before, it's a Chinese dragon year. Like a lot of people who follow this, or it has something interesting to share. I mean, whether you believe this stuff or not is irrelevant, right? It's something to say, okay, the baby was born in this year, thereby that is something that you can share as a special moment. You understand? So you want to go for markets like these, very easy, good ones to go after. The other one that I would suggest you to get some ideas from is this platform called Wonder Blight. I'll write this link down as well for you folks. So I'll show this to you real quick. It's basically personalized storybooks printed. Okay, so here's the link. I'll post this stuff for you folks. Wonderbly.com. And it'll give you some market research intel, okay? So I'll actually share my screen real quick and show you this, hopefully, so you folks can see it clearly, just to get you some ideas, all right? Again, not to like copy what's out there, but to give you some inspiration on what people are actually spending money on, right? So here's an example. Let me show you. This is the platform. So this one is to give you ideas. So you see here, kids books, what age groups you're looking at, 0 to 3 years, occasion, you see this? Birthday, New Year's. Okay, I'll give you the idea here. So birthday, New Year's, and you look at it, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you get the point, right? Christening, graduation, Christmas, right? You see who's the recipient. Siblings for the whole family, all kids recipients, theme, love, bedtime stories, dinosaurs. These are the categories you want to get after. These folks have been in the business for over 10 years now or something like that. So a very long time, and they mastered this about who to give what, right? So for example, if I do 0 to 3 years old, you see this, right? Nursery rhymes is the market. Okay. A for Aiden, you see this? Personalized to their name. This is what I was trying to get at, right? So you see this? This is personalized to somebody's name. Aiden is the name. You want to do that. A lot of people will buy it just based on it. Look at this Rosie's here, right? Name based. So the personalized book. So if you think about it, this also does pretty good if you're trying to do name based. Another one is what kind will you be is another one. You see this, right? First year, Super Sophia, you get the point, right? This does pretty good. The other, this is more in the personalized storybook side of things. The idea is that Amazon will allow you to do that distribution here. Like if you wanted to buy one of these, right? You see this? It's like 60 bucks Canadian, which is about like 50 some bucks US dollars. So you get the point. So I just changed the currency here. Let's make it US. Okay. All right. So you see this, right? So I don't know why I changed the accent, but let me just translate it back to English. Okay, cool. All right. So you see this, right? Right now, like as you can see. Now, the main idea that I kind of wanted to do, so you folks can understand, is to get some idea of like children here and then all ages. So if you go more than 6 years, what are they buying? What is the subcategory here and stuff like that? Okay. So I'll just put it back to Canadian English. I don't know why that's there. All right. Anyway, you get the point, right? So like you see the siblings, babies, and on and on. This is very good for the personalized storybook feature. We're going to be improving this more and more in order to get into this direction. Okay. Because here's the thing. One of the things that you have to understand right now around the world, distribution is key and being able to do it on demand is key. All right. So for example, if I'm trying to buy this book, let's say, or whatever it might be, it's like $60, $50 or whatever, plus shipping on top. If you sell it on Amazon, who would they prefer? Like, let's say, for example, I have a choice between buying it here or buying it on Amazon Kindle, where the shipping of that book will come in a day. I am in a rush. I don't have time to shop. I'll go buy that quickly. You see my point? So this is on the personalized side of things. And then the other thing that you can even do is you can actually go to Amazon's Kindle itself and find out what are the best-selling books. Okay. So that's the other option as well. So you can even go at any point and search in Amazon Kindle and find out what is being sold. Okay. That's another option as well. The main thing though is just to understand where really the greatest leverage comes, meaning where can you add the most in terms of value? Where's those segments, right? That I want you to understand. Okay. Is that clear? Does that make sense? So that you can get a better understanding of where you wanted to go, what do you want to do. One of the biggest purchases for children's books actually are women who are trying to conceive or are already conceiving or just a few months, right? To conceive a baby because they want to set up the whole thing, correct? And that's another huge one. So as an example, that could be if they already have a baby, it's the second one they want or something like that. You get the point, right? So you want to look at it from that perspective as well. So as you look at it from a perspective of like, who is the target market, it'll give you all kinds of ideas. All right. That's basically how I want you to understand. And this is stuff where I've never seen one priced under $25, $30 plus shipping at all. So Amazon's cost like to ship in these like $7 each or something like that. So you'll still, be better off at the end of the day. Okay. Does that make sense? So that is something I want to talk about in terms of what markets to enter. See, here's the thing. As with everything, you got to look at it from the perspective of what little creativity you can do, what AI cannot do. What can AI not do? It can give you suggestions, but not allow you to think from the perspective of a parent, right? What are they really looking for? What are they really looking to buy? Why are they looking to buy? That sort of thing. So think of it from that perspective when you're trying to do these things. And this is where we are venturing down the line as well, okay? That you can think of and really go to the next level, all right? So that's number one. The second thing that I wanted to mention is books based upon one person in the family, okay? So for example, if you look at it, you see adults, the recipients, you see here, grandparents, new parents, moms, dads, partner, friends, and all adult recipients. Let's look at it from that perspective, all right? So you see this, that's one category. And the other one, if you see here carefully, as well that I wanted to show you, is you see astrology is the other one. Remember, humor, poetry, Christmas. So astrology, you go, there'll be some niches under astrology. See this Aquarius, Capricorn, you see what I'm talking about? So you can do it this way as well. Very, very popular in terms of what people are buying and what people want to buy because something to some relevance, right? So imagine if you were to create 12 books, just do it on 12 different signs, right? For horoscope. That'll give you a little bit better reach in terms of how you're thinking. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box. Does that make any sense? It sounds simplistic. I get it, but you have to look at it from that perspective, simplify things. And this is not something AI can do because as somebody like a parent or grandparent, they know how difficult it is to buy gifts for children because right now, everything is electronic. We don't want that. Second thing is some are only catered to 6 months old. Some are only catered to 2 years plus. Some are catered to 5-year-old plus. And then once you go to that level of like 6 months to 3-year-old, not many gifts are out there. Play pen, maybe play mat. There's only like 4 or 5 options and everybody already is gifting these things or buying these things. So this is an excellent way for you to jump into that direction and be able to, publish in these categories. Okay. Now, again, these are just examples. You can go into this platform and see some more examples. The idea is as we get better and as we improve the system more, we'll be venturing more into this direction. And what we want you to do understand, okay, and I think this is the most important thing. I'll come back to this point again, okay? Why Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, okay? Please understand, okay? When a company invests billions of dollars, decades, mastering the distribution system, mastering printing on demand, packaging on demand, shipping on demand, right? It's actually your advantage to take advantage of that ecosystem or that infrastructure, if you will, built for you. You understand? Like, you don't want to go into a scenario where I want to build my own Wonderfly, for example. Too difficult because they have their own, shipping systems. They have their own warehouses. They have their own, distribution centers, one in Europe, one in the US. You get the point. And it's too difficult. It's not something even we can do, not something even you can do. I'm just telling you right now. So this is one of the reasons why, even if it's a little bit painful, a little bit complicated, go through the Amazon Kindle publishing. Yash was mentioning how to do the tutorial today and how specifically to publish. It's a little bit manual. I get it. It's an antiquated system. I understand. But that's also an edge for you, right? Because now once you know it one time, you can replicate it again and you'll keep improving things as we go along, correct? So I just want you to understand that where sometimes that last 5% we say that AI cannot do is what will separate you from everybody. And the other thing is that little bit of creativity you bring to the table is the other real edge that's going to give everybody, right? Like, for example, if we said, okay, press one button and we'll create the entire storybook for you, everybody will have the same type of AI slop or gibberish, right? Doesn't have that 5% of edge you can get. The way I want you to think about AI going forward is an assistant, okay? A calculator to help you speed up mundane tasks. Let's say, for example, an automated system that can do 95, let's say a assistant, a virtual assistant, where you can say, look, can you go research for me all the ideas? Can you go research for me the script writing? Can you go do put the whole thing together? I'll do the last 5%. Author name, is putting things together, going for the markets I want to enter. This is how I want you to approach it, okay? And that's how the future of AI is headed towards as well. And we will simplify the last 5% as much as possible for you as we keep getting your requests and as we keep improving things. But understand there'll be still that 1 to 2% down the line that you have to do. And that's a good thing because if everybody can do the same thing, it'll be the same stuff everybody's seeing. Like, for example, I gave you this example right now about this Chinese horoscope side of things. Let's say, for example, if everybody is publishing the same thing, you're going to have 10,000 competitors. What's the point? Doesn't help you, right? So you just look at it from an idea perspective and add value there, okay? Now, the other questions that came in, I kind of wanted to understand. Does that make sense? So far, you let me know, okay? Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is don't fight against the trends, okay? What does that mean exactly? Okay, so let me write that down for you. It's very important. Don't fight the trends. Okay, ride the wave. Okay, so what does that mean exactly here? So basically, right now, the trending things is, let's say, for example, if you look at a storybook like this, this is about 20 pages, give or take long, right? Not even 30. It's like about 20. Like you see this, very, very tiny. It's a very thin book, right? Not so big. Now here, this is a little bit thicker, but again, this is also about 30-ish pages, okay? So my point is, like, if you think about it, the idea is it doesn't need to be 100 pages. Doesn't need to be 150 pages. It has to be engaging and interesting, correct? So look at it from that perspective. One of the biggest mistakes people make, and I've seen it over the years, is can I create 1,000 pages book? Well, it doesn't work that way, right? People will buy what they see value in. It's not so much about quantity, it's about quality. It reminds me of, like, in the early days, when we used to do copywriting, right? Like a landing page. Let's say, for example, we want to build a landing page like what they have here, correct? See, we used to go by word count, okay, on how to sell something. Let's say this is a page example or whatever, right? And now what we're finding out is that it's about getting as few words in as possible because people don't have the attention span to be able to go scroll down like 100 pages or whatever, correct? So similarly, what we want to think about when it comes to book publishing and other tasks that we want to do is actually minimalism, okay? Simplicity. How can we simplify it? How can we make fewer words convey the message we want to convey, because people don't have the capacity or mind power to go read 1,000 pages or 500 pages or 300 pages or 100 pages. We will get there with technology. We're going to make it better and better. We'll get there, but that doesn't mean that's going to sell. Understand that people don't value things based upon the page count. People value things based on how it applies to them, right? What they want to get and that sort of thing. Okay, does that make sense? Hope that is clear. And then the final thing I wanted to mention here from the side of things of basically the general idea of what we are trying to achieve here is process of elimination, not addition. Okay, I kind of wanted to mention this. So let me bring up Artistly. I'll show you what I mean by that. So you see here, if you go into Artistly, this is the screen, please, being shared. One sec. All right. So you see this, right? So here, what we are doing, if you basically look at it, you see this AI Storybook Studio feature that we've done. So one of the reasons why we did it, even though we have already AI design agents and we have script to storybook, multi-character storybook, and consistent character storybook, why did we create a new category here? Is the idea that we're planning on doing is that now we know already, right? Like we have data of every single person. What are they creating? What kind of storybooks they're creating? You know, we had suggestions on, can I create graphic novels with real people, not 3D cartoon style, for example, or whatever. Each will have its own process and step-by-step system, correct? When it comes to character consistency and all that. So our plan is to simplify this in this section to make it even more easier for you to do and even more streamlined. But understand that when we're trying to do it in this way, sometimes we'll need your feedback, okay? Because the idea is that what we think is easy might not be easy for you. So there might be, instead of 8 steps, we're going to make it 5 steps to simplify this for you. That sort of thing. So let us know. Don't be hesitant to let us know in feedback in our Facebook group and in basically, other areas. Like this is a Facebook group, artistly.ai/FP. If you haven't joined it already, subscribe to this YouTube channel, obviously, if you haven't already, to keep getting updates on new ways, to get this stuff rolling. Now, the other thing I want to mention is right now, if you look at, for example, some of the things that we've added in, like AI bulk actions, where you can do 300 API conversion, like you pick something like this, let's say, for example, and then you go in and then you add, like you see, convert to 300 API. These kind of things, we're going to include that into the workflow itself, okay? We're creating a really cool workflow engine behind the scenes, which means that we can add and subtract things much more easier. Think of it like complicated workflows and stuff like that, but simplified for you, okay, step by step. That's going to be coming up as well soon from our direction. As I mentioned before, once we've perfected the consistency of the characters, which is next stage is the multiple consistent characters, as Yash was mentioning, that's next coming up. And then also, as you saw here, we added that perfect text and image designer, that new feature with V6, it's going to give you perfect text, right? So these things will merge into all the features. What does that mean then? Next stage is your feature request that will be coming in and we'll be adding in. So in the roadmap, so I'll leave the link here. So roadmap.artistly.ai. This is the link. So make sure that you give us suggestions there. All right. So if I pull that up, I'll show you. A lot of the stuff is already being done. We'll just clean it up a little bit because the idea was we want to do the foundational stuff first. So like this line art stuff and all that has already been finished. Vectors we're going to work on soon, where you can, suggest stuff here. You get my point? And then we'll mark them as complete and stuff like that as we go along. So this will be more priority for us. From about in a couple of weeks or so, we're going to get started on these. So don't hesitate to put your feature request there, what you want specifically. Because see, what happens, right? Right now, our focus has been what applies to 100% of the users, correct? Where will 100% of the users be able to be impacted? Perfect text is one, consistent characters are one, like you're creating a storybook that you'll publish into Kindle, right? That's one. I will impact all users. We simplify that. Now, something like, for example, folder structure, a moving folder from one area to the other, or like zip download, simplifying that. It impacts maybe 10, 15% people. Those two are priority. We're not denying, but you want to get the foundation correctly done, for perfect text in every image you create, right? YouTube thumbnails should have perfect text, for example, and merge that. Consistency of characters should not be where before, just a few months ago, you'd have to go give 5 images of yours. Train that for like 30 minutes, right? Wait and sit for 30 minutes until that image is going to create that consistency for you. Newer technologies have emerged, right? The direction you're going is one image, a few seconds, creates that consistency, right? Whether it's 30 pages, 25 pages, whatever amount, doesn't really matter. It's going to be able to do that. And that's where the feature is headed. We're already fine tuning things, assuming the feature is already here. Okay. So that's the other thing I want to mention. Hope that is clear. And the final thing that I wanted to mention here is that, see, we do these weekly trainings. It's me, Ali, Sid, or Yash, or somebody else. The reason why we do is every week around this time is to ensure that you know that we're here for the long haul, right? We're not just here for the short haul, like, like you had, like, we're going to be here and then disappear, like, after like a couple of months or whatever, and hope and pray that nobody uses our applications and stuff like that, correct? So the main idea behind that then is your feedback, right? To make it as interactive as possible. Like today, one of the key features that came in while we were live, like so many of you were suggesting, right? Like this question, can we just add each page one by one instead of adding everything at once? We saw the feedback and we implemented that right away to simplify this for you, correct? So these are the things we can only do with your help, correct? So that's the other plan that we have to make these more interactive in nature and focus on what you want, right? Not what I want or what Yash wants, what sounds good, but what you want, because ultimately that's what matters to us, right? And we have the resources now to be able to implement things much faster and that sort of thing. And in the same line of thinking, if you think about it from a more future-oriented approach, I would say, one of the things that I kind of wanted to mention as well from a future perspective is we now have so many users using Artistly, okay? Yash and I were discussing this this morning. Like, we're pretty much on the top tier of AI designers in terms of users, in terms of number of images generated, in terms of the scale we are dealing with, okay, today. And in the next few months, it's probably going to be the top 3, top 4, top 1, who knows, of AI image designers, okay, in terms of specifically number of users, number of active users, number of images generated and stuff. At that scale, right, what happens is that we gotta get our basics right. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure that the things are loading quickly, things are working as it should, and that sort of thing. And that's what behind the scenes we've been working on to make things more scalable, more efficient, more easier for you to use, and more long-term oriented as well in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the deal making that we are doing for, partners we work with, infrastructure providers, or whatever it might be, right? And so it will be like, in the next couple of weeks, you will start seeing some things that we'll be doing that's going to make things a lot more stable on the basic side of things. And then after that, also simultaneously, you'll see a lot of the integrations that we'll be doing within our applications, like Artistly and Video Express and that sort of thing, okay? To convert your images into video and stuff like that. And ultimately, the goal will be that Artistly will be the best AI image designer. Video Express will be the best video, AI video, there's text to video, image to video, whatever. And the idea will be that we'll keep merging both of them together in terms of that hand-in-hand integrations, okay? So you want to convert your storybooks into videos tomorrow, right? With animations and the characters running around and stuff like that. That will be the main thing. Like, for example, just about a couple of weeks ago, I was spending time with my nephew, who was like 4 years old, and I was trying to share with him the storybooks, and he said, "Can I watch the video of this?" Okay, because I like the storybook concept, but I want to see, like, I'm so used to watching cartoons on TV. I want to see the video. So then that came into my mind thinking, okay, if I can do that right now with Artistly and Video Express. I can convert that storybook into a video, but I can make it a little bit more simpler, right? So that everyday people, like, my nephew or whoever, can actually visually imagine things, right? From a book perspective into a video perspective, into a narration perspective and all that. So that's what we're going to be planning on as well as we go along, right? Not just your feature requests, but other things as well as we go along. And I know I kind of ramble on these things, but I kind of want you to understand that behind the scenes, even though we say V6 or we whatever, right? V6.1 or whatever, reality is a lot of work is going to make things more stable, things more ability to handle a lot of the volume of users we're getting and all that. And that takes a lot of effort and time from our end to do the planning and that sort of thing. I'm telling you this because, when you come and you share feedback and let's say as feature suggestion, and it's not right away done in a week, understand that maybe we are doing other priority work to ensure that we can handle all the volume of users. Or let's say a new feature like that Storybook Studio that we created, it can create advanced stuff that no other platform can create. So thereby, what is the foundational stuff that we need to build? And that's another reason why I'm working behind the scenes on some of these things to simplify things for you, right? It's not about all the cool features too. It's about usability. How can you publish it easily? How can you simplify things and stuff like that? And 99% of the time, it's trying to eliminate things and adding things, You want to add new features. if you don't need to. Simplify the existing features, so that more people can use it, get better results and stuff like that. That's been the focus as well as we go along. Now, in terms of Artistly, we have a couple of really, really high priority things that we are working on right now. One is obviously stability and making sure the infrastructure can handle more influx of users. Tomorrow, when you share your storybooks or spread the word of Artistly to your friends, your family, and that sort of thing, we want to make sure that they too have the same wonderful experience you had, even a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever the case might be, right? And so that's number one. The second thing we're working on is the idea of end-to-end workflows. Okay, this is the hardest thing right now that we've been dealing with, because you need to know the entire workflow before we can teach it and implement it. Correct? So, for example, today we talked about Amazon Kindle Publishing. Correct? Unless you know how to publish one, unless you know what sells, unless you've been a purchaser of stuff like I have, like I buy books all the time, like 200 of these types of books right now, for example, right? So like if I'm buying it, what's causing me to buy them? What are some things I'm looking for? And more importantly, if I want to gift them to other people, what is it? So you have to be in both the chair of the buyer, so to speak, in the seat of the buyer, and also the seller, correct? And that's the key thing that separates us from everybody else, okay? You use any big platform out there, no matter what you want to name them, OpenAI, Midjourney, whatever. The point is that usability is generalized, correct? So that means, okay, if I told you, go to ChatGPT and go create a book for Kindle, you don't know where to start because it's too generalized. What we are working on is to simplify that workflow, and that is what will separate us from every other big platform. Maybe we are not going to be 90, like let's say, for example, we are equal to them in terms of the quality of images, quality of text, whatever, right? What's going to separate us and make us better and bigger is usability. Okay, that's what the focus is. And understand these training sessions and the tutorials we'll be adding step by step for these are focused on that area. And it might take you 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever of your time, but it will be worth your while because we're actually implementing stuff as we speak. Okay, the image ads that we create where millions of people watch and come to Artistly are generated within Artistly right now. The videos that we create most of the time are actually created within Video Express that reaches millions and millions of people who will potentially come and buy Video Express or watch that, right? So we're drinking our own Kool-Aid and we're testing it and implementing things. And why will that be of importance to you? Because of the best features will be actually usable features, not something we just copied from somebody just because it sounded cool. Because like 10 users want it. It's more like what will tens of thousands of users find value down the line, okay? So that's why sometimes it may take a little bit longer for us to implement something, but understand that when we're implementing it, it's from the focal point of how do you get your results and how to simplify things for you. And it's a work in process, right? It's a work in progress all the time. You want to keep improving things every day. Like the iPhone version 1 to now, if you compare, it's a big difference, right? Back then it was revolutionary when version 1 released your touch screen because everything was pen-based, right? You needed to use one of these kind of pens to actually press the touch screen before it got released. Once touch screen came and then there were new variations and stuff, there was 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. That is the iteration cycle, right? To make things better. And we're going to be focusing on that. And you're not charging a monthly subscription, not telling you to buy an extra upsell afterwards, whatever you got. And you're in the future, new customers will probably pay more, they'll pay a monthly subscription, but every one of you will be grandfathered in for all these updates as we've always done. 6 version updates already for Artistly. Video Express had the second one, more to be coming. And that only helps us. The way we make money on is you spreading the word of mouth, and allowing other people to kind of come into our ecosystem, spread the good, loud word, and that sort of thing, right? That's what separates us from here. The community we have, like you folks coming in, taking the time, which we do really appreciate. It's not taken lightly. The comments that you see, what we do after every live stream, we export all the comments from YouTube and Facebook and everywhere. And then we actually go through all the key points, and then we actually note down in our checklist of things. Because, you see something live, it's one thing. And then if we tell you, go email the suggestion, it's extra work on your part. We don't want you to do that extra work. We will do that for you. Don't worry. Okay. And we've streamlined that process as much as possible. Okay. So hope that is clear. Now, a couple of questions that came in. Yes, you want to answer them. I will give it to you here. So that we can do this. So this was one, is tutorials and workflows that's coming up, okay? I kind of wanted to bring this up because we were just discussing about this yesterday, me and Yash and our team. So what it is basically, see, tutorial is one thing, right? It should be such that you're not going to have to even watch the tutorial to be able to get the end result. That means success to us, correct? So tomorrow, let's say, for example, we streamline the AI story book studio, right? Let's say, for example, that new feature we've added in, it should be like, you don't have to watch the tutorial. You go step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, I'm done, right? Now you got the idea. That is the ultimate goal. Now, for that, we kind of also need to make sure that Amazon Kindle, with their antiquated processes sometimes, are also easily implementable. Some things we cannot, it's not in our control, correct? But whatever is in our control, we'll make it streamlined for you, simplified for you. One of the features that came in today, which we hear you, we mentioned that as well in the questions, right? Which was, this one, okay? I want to create a book with both my children and then make sure that, or dogs, pets, cats, whatever, and make it a personalized story based upon that, and a book that can be published based on that. So right now we can do it with one character properly, okay? We've been experimenting to make sure other multiple characters can work just as well, because you have to understand, it's not one image. One image is easy. 30 at once with a storyline syncing perfectly, right? So we're still working on some behind the scenes stuff. We are seeing promising results from our experiments. So yeah, it should be no time before we release this. But what's happening right now that we have to understand is when we release a feature, tens of thousands of people use it right away. We don't know the nuances, what languages they're using, how they're using the feature. So sometimes, we make mistakes because we don't account for what, like say 2% or 5% of the users are using a particular feature. So we're learning along the way as well in this thought process. But the idea is if we release it to you and you give us feedback and we improve it, is a better way than for us to say, okay, let's sit for 6 months and assume every single edge case or every single scenario. Somebody in Indonesia, they couldn't put their language or something, or some prompt didn't work. Instead of that, we'll just tell you, you're from Indonesia, you want Bahasa language or whatever, let it work, right? Or Malay language in Malaysia, whatever, right? So we can now say, okay, that's not supported, let's work on it. But 99% of other users can still use it, you know what I mean? So that's the other aspect that we're looking at, okay? So we see all these questions. It's not like we're ignoring them, obviously, and we do hear you. Like everything is a work in progress, right? You want to make sure that every version is better and better, and looking at your feedback and getting it better. Our goal
it's either my internet or thing, but I think Paul is paused for some reason. But anyways, I hope you can hear me, guys. So yeah, so what Paul was saying, right, is the goal is to take the feedback. So I'm just gonna, I think there's some internet issues. Anyways, no worries, live thing happens, right? So what happens, right, is so what happens is we're gonna take your feedback, right? We're gonna take your suggestions and we're gonna take and improve upon it, right? And with that being said, I want to talk about like what are the things that are coming, so that you know what are the major things we're working on and priorities. Q4 is coming, big quarter, right? Now for personalized sales, personalized gifts, big one. I'm doing some research, and a lot of crazy things, right? I just wish I can share with you, but I'll just keep that for the next training, because we're seeing that what's the trends in the personalizing. There are there are industries and product categories that are just crushing in the products, right? Where doormats, sun catch, like it's just like it's a totally different topic. I'm preparing it for case studies, right? That's working. So let's talk about what's going in the application, right? Probably Paul will be back. It's an internet issue, anyways. So number one, what we're gonna do is multi-character option, right? We hear you. Right now, the multi-character option, when you go to the consistent character, it makes the images a little bit plasticky sometimes. Fixed it. I'm amazed by the results. We're gonna implement it. Multi-character is 100% being implemented. Second, I'm calling it. You can let me know if you think about the name. Style remixer, meaning you got a design style created from any other third-party tool, or you see on the internet. You want to copy that style. You see what I'm trying to say? So you can remix. So basically, either you can change an existing. I don't know if I can remove that banner. Yeah, so you can either change that thing, right? You can either change your image to that style, or you can drop that style as a reference and prompt it to create in that style. Style remixer, big one, big request, right? Working on it, right? So what's multi-character is a big one, right? Where you can upload 2 pictures, 3 pictures, right? A picture of a grandson, or like um or a dog, or like two people, right? And then kind of create a storybook and create the layout. That's one. Style remixer, it's coming up, right? And yeah, Anthony, yeah, I wanted to mention that choose style, right? If you want to get a better version and better results, that's why we're creating a separate category called AI Storybook Studio, right, to get you the best results, right? Now, what do I recommend there is, Anthony, I see that you mentioned the choose style. You're working on it. Once we like do the test, though, that it's working. Hey, Paul, what happened?
My
Yeah.
computer froze. I don't know what happened. So many
Okay,
people
no worries,
messaging
no
at me.
worries.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No worries. So I was just saying, yeah. So Anthony, yes, definitely choose style options are coming. But we want to make sure that what styles you want, right? There's a hand-drawn style, watercolor style, illustration style. We are slowly adding them in the Storybook Studio. Once I'm satisfied that yes, it is consistent enough for across all the users, right? That's the thing. And for the training perspective, this is what the major thing coming for the next week or so. For the application perspective, right? For the training perspective, we're coming on Q4 is coming massive, right? It's the quarter for personalized gifts, personalized ideas, and stuff like that, right? So what we're doing, right, is researching in the market right now. What's there are, as we right, customized doormats are crazy viral right now. These 3D figurine, right? They are very popular right now. How can you create them, right? Like personalize that. How can you create them? 3D possibilities that we are exploring and all this. So many things by not making you overwhelmed, by not confusing you with so many things.
And
We can do
yeah, the main thing is whatever works for you, what's in your comfort zone. The point is that somebody likes selling on Etsy. Okay, fine. Focus on that. Somebody likes, let's say Amazon Kindle. Focus on that. If you just like public, like let's say, for example, what we use, okay, mostly artistly and stuff, what we use it for is actually image ads, okay, on Facebook, and use it for thumbnails here and stuff like that. And we are doing really well with it because now whatever we are learning, we can implement into Artistly. It's like the biggest headache, right? Like imagine you have it on Midjourney or OpenAI, whatever you're using as a tool. You go email them and say, I use this for image ads, let's say, okay? And you tell them, okay, can you please give me this one feature I need? For example, I want the photo of mine to be a little bit consistent, or let's say the text has to be in this font or something. You'll never hear a response back. So we might as well just build it for our own use. And then it turns out that other people, you here, will love to use the same thing that we've perfected, let's say, for example. And that's been basically our thing. So what Yash was showing, and that's what we kind of want to do down the line, getting your feedback, is we have two environments, right? One is our internal data environment, and one is what you use in the application. In there, we have like some 10, 15 new features we are kind of sometimes scared to release because sometimes we don't know if 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever amount of users use it, what will happen if it breaks for like that person in some overseas country or another language or a use case you're using it. But slowly what we're finding comfort in is that a lot of you folks are kind of giving us feedback like, okay, I like it this way, so I can give feedback, and that's the thing. It's rough around the edges, but I can get to use it, right? So that's the basic idea that we are trying to aim at. And what's happening right now, we're finding out is AI's major use case seems to be saving time and actual specific speed of implementation, let's say, okay? Just about a year ago, let's say, okay, not even that long ago, last year, let's say, a few months ago, what happened was, let's say you want to create a thumbnail for YouTube. Now you got to go send it to a designer. That designer is going to be like, okay, I'm sleeping now. I'll wake up tomorrow morning and do it. And then they send it back the next day. We give revisions. And then now it's 3 days, right, to get a thumbnail. Now, literally before a live stream like this, we can create it in like a couple of minutes, publish it, good to go. And it's good like the first or second time, right? And same thing with image ads, let's say, for example, or e-commerce product ads or whatever you want to do, let's say mock-ups or whatever. One of the things we're noticing is a lot of people, it's not about the money, right? Like if it's about, let's say, $10, $15, $20 to create one image, it's not that time, okay? To be able to set aside time to be able to give instructions to somebody, to be able to have that person return back something, and then it's not to your liking, and then you give revisions and stuff. That back and forth is the reason why a lot of people give up. They don't do anything because they're like, it's too difficult. I don't have the time to do one thing properly. Paul and Yash are saying do 100. how am I supposed to do 100 if I can't even do one and it takes me 3 days? So what we're finding is the speed, okay? And the interesting thing is that I kind of want to mention here, and in real life, I'm just saying, okay? Because we have almost like tens of thousands of users at any given time using our system, we have so much data now of what type of stuff people are creating, where are they having issues with, and stuff like that. And what we're noticing is that whether you're like a 14-year-old kid or whether you're like 84 years old, the issues are the same, okay? In other words, okay, I want perfect text in my image. I want consistency in characters to do a storytelling. I want to create, let's say, a product mock-up or an ad or let's say image ad or whatever. Or I want to in turn take my image and convert it into videos for Video Express or whatever. The same issues are quite common everywhere. And what we're finding out is I was recently training an intern, right, in our company. He was coming in as a second year university kid, right, 17, 18 years old. And what we're finding out is that when we train them, like about how to use our platforms and stuff, in a week, they're good. Like normally they would have to go and learn in a university how to use Adobe Photoshop for like 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, how to use Adobe Premiere or whatever, right? We're finding out like these kids are learning in a week what would take even me, let's say 2 or 3 years before. And that means, just as an important thing I want to mention, it's like, I'll give you a perfect example. It's like having somebody know, if you're going somewhere, know how to use Google Maps, right? To reach a destination versus somebody not using Google Maps. That's the difference, right? Technology is that. Like I was dealing with somebody who never used Google Maps the other day. Is like, what direction? Is there a landmark that I can know if it's just close by or whatever, right? Like if you use Google Maps, you're never the same again. Similarly with the AI, we're finding the same logic, okay? Which is basically where once you start using it, you're never the same again. The old workflows and stuff, no longer work. It doesn't make any sense. It's not even about the money. It's about time. It's about efficiency. It's about speed. It's about other factors which are a lot more valuable than money, right? In many cases. So very interesting. I just want to pass on that information because what we are finding then is in the next couple of years, having knowledge of Artistly or Video Express or AI in general will set you apart from the people who are reluctant to adapt as quickly. And there is that friction, right? And we will simplify that process, obviously, for you down the line. And if you see today, right now, it's such a nascent industry, right? Like it's such a new industry. Like you can't even go and say, okay, I want to get the expert in image generation who's a prompting expert or something. I mean, nobody's out there that you can go and pick and choose and get. So brand new. There's like a handful of people in any kind of expertise right now. Similarly, what we're talking about, Kindle publishing using the power of AI, let's say. It's not like you can go and find people out there where you put a job post and I need an AI expert who create books for me on Kindle, let's say, and automate the process for me and deal with hundreds of these. No expertise. So in other words, when you're trained with it, you train other people, you'll have an edge too, regardless, whatever industry it is in. Okay. So that is something that is a big game changer for you to understand. I cannot stress this enough. I mean, sometimes I'm trying to get this point through to you. Please understand that you're in a brand new industry. Before ChatGPT, just so you understand, because we have PhDs in our team in machine learning and stuff, just so you understand, okay? AI was separated into two fields, okay? I'll write this down so you folks can understand. AI was in data science and basically it was also in robotics, okay? So I'll explain to you what that means, okay? Before ChatGPT released, okay? This was in 2019, 2020, 2021. So data science was basically where you go into, say, let's say a mall, and the guys are checking how many people entered the mall, okay, in a given day. And Fridays, there's a bigger rush. In the supermarket, what products are being chosen more often than other, right? That was data science. That's also AI, by the way, okay? And this was the case. Robotics is where like self-driving cars, right? Like your Waymo or like Tesla, the self-driving thing. All the research, let's say, I'll put this, all the research is put it into these two things, data science and robotics. Then generative AI came into place, okay? So let's just talk about that right now. So generative AI, okay? This is what Artistly does. This is what Video Express, this is what our applications do. This is what ChatGPT revolutionized, okay? And so what's happened is ChatGPT released, let's say 2023 January, like late 2022, right? So this is about 2.5 years ago or something, not that long ago. What changed here is that all the people who invested 5, 6, 7 years of their life on data science or self-driving cars are unable to master generative AI, even on the PhD level. Okay, very fascinating, right? So that means what's happening is the few people like yourself or like us who are investing a lot of time and resources on generative AI, whether there's images, video, audio, which is creative fields. Okay, very important to understand. Like if you do generative AI and you say, give me a medical diagnosis and it makes even 1% mistake, it's a big problem, correct? Law. Try to say, okay, give me a legal verdict on something, right? And it makes 1% mistake, not excusable. But generate me a storybook, creative, perfect, right? Generate me a narrative storybook, perfect. Generate me a video like that I can do have creative elements to it, perfect. Because why? Natively, it can do that really well, right? The idea of like creativity for that matter. So we've been investing a lot of our time into this. And what we're noticing is that there's nobody out there who is really investing the time we are investing in. Very, very few people, right? Maybe Google or maybe, let's say a couple of other companies like that, right? Not like everybody every day. Like you go to your local, like your dentist or your local doctor or like, let's say whoever, right? Your hairdresser or whatever. They don't understand anything here. They just heard about ChatGPT. They opened it up a couple of times. They use it once in a while, maybe once a month, once or twice a month or whatever. But they're completely missing out on this, okay? Which will become the norm in about a couple of years or so. It's a big, big thing for you to take advantage of, okay? And I understand sometimes it's a little bit painful. I understand it's kind of brand new for you. But imagine back in the day, right? Like in the 1980s, when IBM built this big computer, there were a handful of people who used it. Then came the personal computer from Apple and, and these folks. And then everybody started using it and it became a household thing, right? And same thing what's happening right now, which we are in the early stages, like the original iPhone or whatever. So as we are improving things, understand that in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, one of the biggest things people say is, am I too late to the bandwagon, right? Like, am I too late to selling on Amazon? Am I too late to do rankings on Google, let's say, for example, how to get top rankings on Google for traffic generation? Am I too late for social media marketing, let's say, as an influencer or whatever? Am I too late for YouTube? The thing is, yes, you're late for all of them, but this. Why? Because the technology is so brand new that it's all experimental in nature. There's no right answer, right direction. It's all, in a way, a little bit of uncertain territory, let's say, okay? So that means the few people who figure it out, who understand it, will end up getting a massive advantage over the next 2 or 3 years for sure, and beyond too, because now a skill learned is a skill kept, right? Like it's not gonna fail you down the line, okay? As an example, ever since Artistly came, I've not opened Photoshop even once. I would be using Photoshop almost every day before, right? Even though I'm not a perfect expert in it, I would still need to use it. I've not opened it even once since Artistly's release, okay? Especially the V4 release we did last year with editor and all that stuff, layers and stuff, never used Photoshop, no need for it. And if I'm feeling that way, you can imagine how that will revolutionize an entire creative industry. We put Video Express, we're adding all the editor and layers and stuff, never used Adobe Premiere or any one of these tools, which are video editing tools, too cumbersome and not AI first. You understand? Then I focused on AI or like AI video or AI video to sound, let's say, or background music. You get the point. So as time goes on and these other companies adapt, they'll be too late, you'll be too late as well, right? That's the reason why I'm saying the edge you're getting is worth the hassle today. It's worth that 30 minutes, an hour, you to show up to these live trainings and make it worth your while. Because I'm telling you right now, the amount of research that we're doing, amount of money we're spending, and we don't really, every single penny in profit that we make, whether Artistly, Video Express, any of our products, we're reinvesting back into R&D infrastructure to make it more easier for you and stuff, and not making profit. Why? Because I've already made my money, right? I've been doing this stuff for like 16 years now, and I've had enough success already. I want to do something that's really revolutionary and life-changing for a lot of people, right? And at that level, what happens is that we're related to any amount of money to get the best product through, correct? So again, that means, in other words, we're in the cutting edge, leading edge of what's happening in the industry today. That means that's good for you, okay? Because the problem solving that we're finding out we'll share to you, and you will understand what is the actual problems today. For example, okay, let me simply tell you, I'll write it down for you because sometimes visually and reading is better. The number one problem right now is consistency of characters for storybooks for, let's say, 30 plus pages, okay? So let's say this is the problem right now, as an example. We're actually dealing with it today, right? What happens once, initially we did 10 pages, then we did 20, then we did 25, and it was breaking the consistency a little bit at 25, meaning the two characters will not be the same. Like there's a beard in one, there's no beard in one, and stuff like that. And as we reached 30, we found the same hurdle, correct? And so what will happen is, as we time goes on, we'll do 40, then 50, then 60, then 70, 100 pages, whatever. Somebody else will come in, they'll promise you, okay, we can do 100 pages. And I can promise you, okay, they will completely fail at it because they don't even know what they don't know. You understand? Like, it's like somebody saying, okay, it takes 100 kilometers to go somewhere, and they assume it's only 1 kilometer because they can only see so far from their eyes, right? They don't understand in kilometer 20, kilometer 30, there's all these headaches and challenges. We are dealing with that every day, right? So what I'm trying to say is that these challenges that you see, like this 30 pages, when we do 50 pages, we'll be the only one in the industry who can do it. When we do 100, we'll be the only one accurately, perfectly. We'll be able to do it, and fast. That's the other thing. Okay, it's easy where you say, okay, you generated, come back 2 hours later, right? 5 hours later, right? But being able to do it in a few minutes, very big challenge too, correct? So again, that's another issue. The other one is perfect text, right? Huge, perfect paragraphs of text, right? This was a big challenge until we released it just last week as a feature, right? The perfect text feature within Artistry. So what's the challenge here? Well, it's easy to put one line of text, maintain it, whatever. You start putting paragraphs of text, like a poster, like let's say brochure, or let's say an invitation you want to send to people, right? Like a wedding invitation, or let's say birthday invitation, whatever. Now that requires a lot of things to be perfect, right? The font has to be perfect. The transition between the fonts has to be perfect. Photos have to come in there. Has to be images, text, everything, right? Natural. That is a challenge. And we figured it out after many, many, many months of headaches. We figured that out as well. And so what I mean to say is, when somebody says, a brand new company, no other research being done, like, oh, we can generate paragraphs of text, either they will not sustain themselves for too long because they're relying on other third-party platforms to be able to do it. They're not doing internal R&D, meaning you don't generate hundreds or thousands of images. They can't sustain the costs, obviously. The second type of company is not going to be sustainable, in a sense that the accuracy of it will be problematic, right? And so my point is that when you're in the cutting edge of this stuff and you're dealing with these day-to-day problems, you know too that your competition is doing the same issues, right? Other people are also facing the same issues. That means you know exactly where you stand in the competition charts, correct? So for example, if you're doing thumbnails, for example, right now, or you're doing, say, for example, e-commerce products or storybooks right now, today's topic, let's say, right? One of the key things is nobody in the industry can do 30 pages worth of consistent character-oriented storybooks, whether it's one character, two characters, whatever. When we add in multiple character consistency across 30 whatever pages, we'll be the first ones in the industry, right? So we've gone through all the headaches, all the edge testing, your feedback and stuff, and we added in. That means, think of it this way, simple common sense. Nobody is able to do it that quickly, right? Other people have to do it manually. They'll generate it, publish it, go and edit things, right? They don't like something, do it. They're going to spend a day to do one book. You're going to do many, right? Or similarly, let's say, for example, you only have Fridays free to be able to do this, or Saturday or weekend. You can do it. Well, other people will be like giving up, saying, look, I want to go watch Netflix now. It's too hard, this stuff. And they give up, right? You don't have to, because you know, with Artistry, you're getting the latest, greatest, cutting edge stuff. Okay. That which we experimented a lot, broke our head, a lot of headaches to get that output. We might make mistakes in the process, right? Some things might break, some edge cases might not work, but at least we're trying, right? And a lot of other people out there, they're just going to say, okay, we're just going to do 50 pages just because Artistry has 30. Consistency will fail. Text quality will fail. Publishing to Kindle, like we said, will fail because it's just not going to make any sense when they're trying to do, because of the pain points that are happening across the board. So think of it this way, okay? There's two lines of thinking in AI right now, okay? One line of thinking, okay, and I'll write this down as well, is this idea of super intelligence, okay? That means, okay, like let's simply say, right, super intelligence, meaning like the AI will be so smart that it's gonna do everything for me. Like I say, today I just woke up and I want to create a storybook that will also go and publish to Kindle, and then it will have all these elements that I want, and then go create it, publish it, and give me the money, let's say, or whatever it says. Not happening. Okay, Trust me, if we could create it, we would do it. And what's happening is that in that last mile, there's problems in consistency, creativity, problems in text quality, problems in, third-party applications you got to work with, like Amazon's Create, Kindle Create, all these other issues you're going to face, right? A lot of people don't even understand that. They just say, okay, I can do everything for me. If not today, in like next year. I don't want to wait next year for something that you're telling me could happen, right? I want to know what's happening today. That's the concept. Similarly, the other line of thinking, which we are big proponents of, is basically this idea of AI being a virtual worker or an assistant, okay? Like think of it like a junior virtual worker or a virtual assistant, okay? So this is more possible today, okay? And very doable. So that in other words, like let's say you train a virtual worker to basically say, okay, can you create me a storybook in 30 pages? You give me, I'll edit the last 5%, make it better. That can be done. Similarly, I want to create a video for YouTube or whatever using Video Express. Well, I'll give the general idea. You create me the videos, and then I will merge it together, put it together, add some spice, and then release it. Very, very possible today. Okay. Not like something like a pipe dream a year from now, 2 years from now. Because what's happening is the AI companies are over promising and they can't live up to the hype because they have to promise to investors, right? To say it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Like, for example, self-driving cars, right? It was supposed to release in 2017, 2018. Elon Musk has mentioned that. Never, I mean, to this day, except for a couple of cities, right? It works. So what's happening there? Last mile. Last 5%, very difficult to achieve because you cannot make errors, right? At that point in time, you gotta be careful. It's the same concept here. What we are saying is that the last 5%, 2%, 3% of your effort is required to get that finish line. What does that mean to you? It means these trainings are important for you to attend, right? Because that we're teaching you the last 3%, 4%. How do you get that properly done? Okay, because that will allow you to have an edge over everybody else. Okay, does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box, please. So because I know I sometimes we talk about the future, where you want is the present today. What I'm saying is today this is possible. The idea of AI being a virtual assistant, and we will make that virtual assistant as smart as possible every single day for you to be able to implement it into your business, into your workflows, into whatever you want to do, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's social media posts, whether it is whatever, right? And we'll make that process more simpler, more personalizable, more customized for you. Okay. So, you can basically see any questions you see, you can answer them. We'll call it a day because I want people to understand why they should attend these trainings, why they're so important.
Yep. No, I see a couple of questions which I already answered. And the main thing, as we mentioned, right? When it comes to the features, here's what's coming, right? Multi-consistent characters, right? A complete upgrade for that. Style remixer, bring in your own style, right? That's something very, very important. And the perfect text and image rolling out to more accounts and stuff like that, right? So these three major priorities are coming up next, right? And when it comes to the weekly seminars and the trainings, we are going to be talking more about personalized gifts because Q4 is coming and it's huge for personalized gifts. You name it. We're seeing already the people started shopping early, right?
And I just want to add one thing on this, Yash, okay? So folks,
Yeah.
very important, all right? Remember we talked about that scale thing, right? So scale issue, okay? I'll put this point, okay? One of the things that occurred, like I used to do e-commerce at a heavy level, right? During the COVID days and stuff. Yash was doing it, for those who are in part of our community would know. We're in many e-commerce verticals. Like Black Friday would come, right? Let's say Black Friday is released and then now there's this influx of people, right? In October, November, December, trying to buy whatever you have, gifts, like personalized storybooks. One of the biggest issues people have is they're like, I need Paul, like, I know this is the best time. I want to get started right now. I want to do. And then they can't handle even 10 customers, 100 customers, 1,000 customers. So what we're teaching you today is scale friendly in that sense. What does that mean really? If Amazon Kindle, you have a book published, if 10,000 people order it, Amazon will do it in a day. They have that scale. You see what I'm saying? They have that infrastructure built in. So some of the things that we're teaching, whether it's Etsy, Amazon, all that, we're trying to kind of teach you stuff which is friendly in this aspect as well. Because oftentimes what we think is easy in the last mile that we talk about is very hard to achieve because we don't have the money, the infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. As I told you, When I was selling CD-ROMs, right, we used to put software in CDs. We used to put ebooks in CDs, like these videos in CDs and sell it back in 2008, 2009, 2010 when I was doing this stuff. I've been like the serial entrepreneur hustler, so I've tried everything. So one of the things that used to ship these CDs. And then one of the problems was just like this, when Black Friday would come or something was hot, we would order 500 at a time because that's all I could afford, right? And so 500 units would take up and get eaten up because it was a Black Friday week. Then the guy would say, look, the company would say, okay, 500 more you want it right now. It's going to take us 2 more months because we're busy. The Black Friday delivery, all this stuff. And you'd miss the boat, right? And now who's going to wait for another year? So just trying to say some of these things that we're teaching you is friendly in that sense as well. You do it correctly. It can be some headache, but the idea is that if you really want to scale up and succeed and make it worth your while, these platforms will actually assist you in that because they've already invested billions of dollars in this end. So when he's talking about gifts, right, we're going to be talking about trainings on how to do this as a storybook gifts or whatever it might be. How do you create with artistry? How do you publish it? We're keeping that in mind because see, you don't want to be in a scenario, put all that effort, right? And then you can't handle the orders or you can't handle the volume. You can't handle the shipping. Who's going to go sit in front of the garage and ship each book, right? All around different states, different countries and stuff. Not fun, right? So same logic. We're trying to look at it from that perspective of scale as well, because that means that even if it's a little bit more expensive, in the end, that it will be worth your while to be able to go through all this headache, because even for us, right? And just an example, many times when we're doing artistry, we're doing feature updates and stuff like that. Whether it's a small feature or a big feature, the effort is almost the same, right? Because we got to test it equally. We got to make sure it's working across all languages or all users or different countries, regions, whatever. And so therefore, what we are actually treating each is we're spending the exact same amount of time for each. So sometimes prioritization means that what will impact the most amount of users, right? So similarly for you, it'll be the same aspect. When you're putting in that 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of your effort, is that time going to be worthwhile? Where in the last step, you can't handle the amount of orders or you can't handle the volume or you did everything correctly and you feel, oh, darn it, I'm not that good now in terms of shipping and going into the local UPS, FedEx, or whatever, USPS or postal service or whatever, whichever part of the world you're in, right? Being able to do that last delivery is just too much of a headache and also not the best way to use your time, correct? So because see, he was mentioning this too. We are masters at marketing. It's like bread and butter for us. We've actually learned from the very best legends of the industry in marketing, copywriting, aspects of these things for the last 15 years. Me in particular, Yash, from like 5 years. The point is that when we are telling you stuff, it comes from 15 years worth of knowledge, right? So in marketing and stuff like that. So when you're trying to do things, sometimes it might work too well. Can you handle it? The biggest reason why people fail is not because of fear of failure. It's can they handle the success? They get overwhelmed. Can I handle the infrastructure? Can I handle the support systems? Can I handle when like 100 people email me something went wrong? Can I handle it? These are little details that a lot of people get stuck on. It all sounds fun until you get to that stage, correct? So we're trying to avoid those things. Yeah, yes,
Yeah, another thing which I just got in my mind, is nobody really understands the value because AI can do anything, right? If it's not being directed properly, right? We all agree with that, right? It can get in all direction and it lets you do the thinking. Now, how can you do the thinking when you have no context, right? We saw that. Not just with our experience, because with the sheer amount of money that we are not just spending on the software side of thing, but also on the marketing side of thing, right? So what's happening is we're spending this millions of dollars. What we are learning, so that the results that you're getting are validated by the buyers, are validated by the ad spend, or are validated by real dollars that we're spending, that we're seeing that, okay, this is working, this is hot, this might help you, right? And then we're bringing all those features in. So not just you're getting the best of the best when it comes to the technology, you're getting the best of the best when it comes to the marketing, right? So that combo is very lethal, right? Like it's very powerful, right?
Yeah, because look at it, common sense, folks, right? Let's look at it, right? It's so easy for us to say, okay, folks, here's our training on how to create storybooks with Midjourney. Okay, go buy a Midjourney subscription, whether you can afford it or not. Then second thing is, okay, if Midjourney doesn't do some things properly, go buy this other tool, Google or whatever, right? That does a little bit better. Oh, by the way, you're trying to do storybooks. Also, what I recommend is you better get like this other software which puts all these things together into a storybook format. Easy, right? Like you can go make a course, make money doing that. But now here, we're actually teaching you stuff how to use it with an application you already have access to. You purchased 2 years ago for a one-time payment. A year ago, doesn't matter. How do you use it and how do you get results? It's much harder because now we better put our money where our mouth is, so to speak, right? If we say it's going to work, it has to work fast. It has to work in a very streamlined manner. It has to be stable. And when you come to a live stream like this, you can say, Paul, yes, that feature is not working properly. You got to fix it. We're like, okay, I hear you. You're not like a corporation hiding behind like some brand or something where you can't even reach the person in charge of that feature, right? Whoever developed it. So that makes us more in line with what you folks are actually doing right now, and also helps us, basically make it more of a applicable, right? Something that has a real use case, something that will actually help you out. And why we're mentioning this is, it's not to brag or anything. I mean, we don't get anything to brag out of this whole scenario, but more so to explain what we are finding the pain points, right? We are spending millions of dollars in advertising. We are spending a lot of money on consultants and people who are doing all the stuff that we are trying to explain to you, right? So in reality, what's happening then? We actually are seeing the same problems that we are teaching you folks today, correct? So that's the basic idea of what I'm trying to explain here, where when you run an image ad, you're like, okay, this ad, it did well because of these reasons. Why don't we implement that into Artistly as a feature? This particular YouTube video had this thumbnail. It did really well. Why don't we add this feature in our thumbnail feature in Artistly, let's say, for example, or integrate that into other features? Like this storybook concept, right? I bought 200 storybooks, let's say. Now, which ones were good? Which ones were best selling in that bookstore or in that platform? Okay, and you're doing it, let's focus on perfecting that. Because see, one of the questions that came in is like this one right here, which was I'll write that note right now. Can we do other types of storybooks other than 3D, right? Watercolor or whatever, right? I'll just put that so that in case some people want to watch this later. This was a question. What we want to do is perfect this first, the 3D, right? 3D thing should be perfect across, and you should start actually publishing them, and actually it's world class, meaning you can compare it to somebody who spent a month or 2 months or 3 months with a perfect designer or whatever versus what Artistly can generate, right, in a few minutes or whatever. The point is that you gotta still a little bit ways to go, which is consistency in multiple characters. In a storybook, you can upload 2, 3, 4 characters and can generate across 30 pages or whatever it might be, or more. Create the engine for that. Once we perfected 3D, we'll move into the next stage, which is graphic novels, or you get the point, right? Like more realistic in nature, or watercolor or whatever, because it goes step by step. If you don't perfect one and just say, okay, we have 5 features and none of them are even usable, when you start publishing, you're facing all kinds of issues. What's the fun in that, right? So I want to mention this as well. So we want to make sure that whatever we do, it's the best if it's class, then move to the next thing. Rather than say, okay, we have 10 other new features coming up, and then none of the 10 do really a good job, right? It's not solving your problems. And then the other issue becomes, now you're having 10 features with 100 requests, and which one do you prioritize out of those 100? Let's focus on 3D. 3D is the best selling thing in children's book. It's all 3D, right? They're not reading graphic novels, for example. So how do we perfect that for children's book first? How do we improve it further? How do you take in your feedback and make it better? And then move to the next layer, next feature request, right? Adult storybooks, let's say graphic novels, right? This kind of stuff, or suspense novels, whatever you want to talk about, right? You can start getting to that stage. And that has its own set of challenges, right? That will have its own set of templates, trials, that stylistic factors, like Japanese manga is a different style. 2D is a different style, right? In realism, you're looking at more graphic novel style or comic book style. You see my point? Each have its own subcategories you want to focus on. So these are the things that we are trying to make sure that you understand. You're already exploring them, but we'll release them when we're confident enough that we've perfected one and have it ready.
Yeah, just one thing, because don't also think that as you're seeing all the queries, and I just want to mention one thing that's keep coming. Steve, we hear you, right? Steve Adams. It was a previous comment, and I just made a note regarding that, the AI influencer thing, right? So basically, we kind of got an upgrade with that. more categories and all that. So we're working on it. That will be available, right? So the ability to create usage, like, your UGC, like product holding and AI influencer stuff. We already had it and it's already there, but the specific AI influencer feature, yeah, that is coming, right, with more category that it had before, just for
Yeah. So on this real quick. So when we have this feature right here, AI influencer feature, some suggestions came in that it could be improved upon or whatever. What happens is we have like 1,000 users, let's say, or whatever amount of people who are using it. They keep generating the feature that which it's not perfect in, and then they say, well, it's not working, and they keep generating, right, again and again until it's perfected. So we just figured, okay, we'll put that into that feature in maintenance, fix that, whatever the bug or whatever glitch you're seeing, then we'll bring it back as a better, higher end version.
more
Because what
useful.
happens otherwise, otherwise what's going to happen? You'll have the same users using it again and again, same type of questions coming in. And when we try to push an update, things will break because at the end of the day, you have existing images being generated on the fly, and then you're bringing a new update now that will clash with each other, right? So yeah, that feature will be coming up. We're just making that last final updates because we have a new algorithm that we are updating, and it's going to be really cool. We'll announce in one of the training sessions coming up in a tutorials page and stuff like that as well, and that and a couple of other things as well that I want to mention. And a couple of things were also some beta features people were posting on, which only our beta testers have access to. So maybe if you're confused on that, that probably could also be another thing. But generally speaking, what we're facing is the same issue. Realistically, I don't want to meant, but like OpenAI had, right? What happened is they released GPT-5, and then everybody's like, you remove GPT-4o. Like, I like GPT-4o, and you got to bring it back because my existing projects used 4o, and now I cannot use it for the GPT-5 or whatever. And then they brought it back, right, for the 4o, because when you're doing it that many amount of users, you don't know how everybody's using something. Similarly for us, we have like 30, 40, 50,000, whatever amount of users we have, like tens of thousands of users. Like if we are updating something, somebody will always get angry with something. We get it. So what we're trying to do is like make sure that, okay, if that is the case, let's make sure that we'll give you the old version, use it, but also give you the new version. Okay. Eventually you'll like the new version better because a lot of effort was put in. But until then, you can use the old one as well. So this is another thing with AI influencers and other stuff, which is you're going to keep the old stuff you like, bring you new stuff as well on top, new features, right? And make it streamlined so that when you're using it, you're like, okay, I get the point. I was using it this way, I'll still use it, but this new stuff is also good, okay? So we're learning on the fly with these things as well because we have so many users using it, which is great. We love it. We appreciate you, obviously. It's not every day that you get something. So many people are being impacted by it, right? But it comes with its own responsibility, right? You got to be very like careful when you're trying to release some features that might impact so many users who are using it on a day-to-day basis, which we do understand. Okay, so one thing is where we are heading to the trajectory, like I mentioned before. If we are going to be the top 3 AI image designers in terms of pure usage every day, traffic, all that stuff, then it requires us to also pull up our socks and make sure that we're doing everything properly, right? Making sure some structure is in place, some processes are in place and stuff. So that's why it's sometimes a little bit slow on some things to release compared to how you would like it. It's just because we want to make sure that everybody is satisfied. It's very hard, but we'll try our best. Okay, just want to mention that. Okay, so Steve, in terms of that question you were asking, again, we want to be transparent. Yeah, every single feature if we are bringing it back or remove it, we're generally updating it to make it better. It's not so much that we remove it because we don't want you to use the feature. It's more like we want more people to use the feature and the improvements that we made, okay, along the way, because times are changing, right? Like back just about a year ago, if you would have said, I want to make sure I create a brochure with like perfect text, with the whole brochure having that text paragraphs worth of text, we would have said, well, AI cannot do it today. It's going to get better. Today, it's unacceptable to say that. People expect it to be good, right? No middle ground there. So we understand. So when we have to release it, it has to be perfect on the get-go. Yes, 99.99% perfect. Maybe that 0.01, whatever, it's not as good as it should be. It's okay. We can improve that last few things perfectly, okay? So that's the change. And that's the change you're going to get too, by the way, from your end, okay? So when you're creating storybooks, when you're creating some of these things that Artistly can generate, the expectation of the end user, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a client, whether it's, for example, a user, maybe it's somebody who is a visitor on a website or an e-commerce page or a landing page or a social media post, they don't want it to appear like AI. It should appear like a human created it. And that is inexcusable these days, okay? Across the board. Has to be as good as possible. And that is a challenge everybody's facing across the board. And that is another reason why we are focusing so much of our effort into these things, to perfecting things as we go along, right? And your questions too, we are seeing it. As I mentioned, some of them, if we don't get to answer right away, understand that we'll export it and we're going to make that part of that. You don't have to email us. That's the great thing about us. You don't have to email us saying, put this feature or that feature. If you mention it in any one of our trainings, we've seen it. It's in our mind. We noted it down in that, and you're just going to go implement it, even if it's not in our roadmap. If enough people are asking, like for example, today we added that page or sorting feature for that storybooks, right on the live webinar here. That was not in our roadmap because that was a brand new feature, right? But we know more people will want it. We implemented it right away. That's how we want to make sure that we are doing things. Okay. Now, and saying that, I think we'll take our last couple of questions and we'll call it a day. Now, the few things I want to mention, right, so that we can kind of make sure that we answer. So can I get version 6? Yeah, everybody got version 6 as of last week. So you log in, you're going to see version 6. Every update we make for Artistly is free. As with everything. Okay. Just want to mention that, so that's clear, right? Every update is free for everybody who are existing customers. You just log in and you're going to see that update. Okay. Now, the other thing as well is one need to adapt. Yeah. And change and ride the wave. Okay. The AI wave is not waiting for anybody. It is going to keep going as well. Right. And the other thing as well that I want to mention is this idea of like quality of life improvements. Okay. What does that mean exactly? Where, say, for example, you want a folder structure, you try to move one thing to the other, it's not as fun as you want it to be. We are going to start focusing on features like those in a couple of weeks once we've finished the key features that we want to add, like perfect text across all images, consistency of the storybooks for multiple characters, for example. These are things that we want to make sure that it's perfect. Okay. And we are very close to getting there, like in a week away or a couple of weeks away. So once we do that, we're going to focus on that. We have a dedicated team for Artistly, dedicated team for Video Express, dedicated team for everyone for applications. So that means it's not like one creates, one will slow down. As I said, we're not focused on profit right now. It's like everything is being reinvested back to make it as good as possible, because I'm good, like we made our money. I've done it really well over the years, fortunately, being in the stuff. And one thing I want to mention, how did I do well, is that I was in the early stages of everything, right? In 2006, when I got started, search engine optimization was a really hot thing. Very limited people would know how to get a website ranked on Google top. I invested my time. At that point in time, there was Yahoo search. There was Microsoft search. There was dogpile.com, would you believe it? Alta Vista search. There was all this other stuff, right? And Google was the key player. And I said, okay, Google seems good. Let's invest my time. And I could rank websites on Google before it was a normalized thing, right? Too saturated. Same thing with video, right? On the internet. Until 2009, 2010, bandwidth was not there for people to consume video content, just like what you're seeing today, right? Once it caught on, the broadband connections were like very common across the board. Then it made it easy for the first person or the first few people or first few hundred people who would leverage that through video content, not just text. Okay. Same thing with mobile, right? When mobile came in, consumption of content moved into applications and bite-sized chunks content, right? You couldn't have big stuff. You had to adapt to be smaller in nature in terms of your text on a website, mobile compatibility and all that. All these trends, whoever were the first few hundred people or whatever around the world could leverage and get all the value out of it, right? And AI is the same thing right now. It's a buzzword. I get it. Everybody, like, you go and everybody's talking about it. But what is it in a nutshell? I come back to this thing, okay? What is it in a nutshell? It is your personalized virtual assistant, okay? AI is your personalized virtual assistant right now. That is how you have to treat it. That is how you have to basically use it, right, in your day-to-day business. Okay, like a personalized assistant, that which you can, get benefit from. Okay, does that mean that means that you got to give it instructions, which we call prompts? That means, secondly, you got to create a proper workflow, like just like how you give a bunch of instructions to a virtual assistant. Somebody just joined a job, they don't know about you, they don't know about your business well. You got to give them step-by-step instructions, right? Same concept. You do a step-by-step workflow. So then what happens is, over the next month or whatever, that virtual assistant, that AI assistant will do 95% of the work in a few minutes that would have taken you days or months or never, because you give up, right? It's too complicated. The last 5%, that is where we come in. We'll train you to make sure that that will be simplified for you. Okay, is that clear? Does that make sense? Hit me in the chat box, because that's the only way you're going to succeed if you understand the power of AI, okay? Don't listen to all these charlatans out there. You're going to be like, okay, I have this AI solution, which is going to do everything for you. You just imagine it. It's going to take words from your brain and then create everything for you. Complete nonsense, right? Doesn't work. You know it. I know it. You can see it right now. What is it really then? It's a calculator, for example. When calculator was not there, people were doing the math in their head, right? Or writing it. Calculator simplified things. Personal computer. What happened? Before, you had to do ledgers, right? Before Excel and spreadsheets came in on the computer, you had to do all these ledgers with your hand, print it out like with a typewriter. You make a mistake, you put like, it would take you forever. Now it's more automated and stuff, formulas and stuff, right? For those who know spreadsheets, same concept. Here, what's happening is that you're able to do stuff which would take you many, many days or many hours or whatever, much faster, but still it needs that human touch. Okay, that human touch is what we're training you how to do it with the less amount of stress for you, with simplicity, and also with ease of use, of course, but also step by step, right? Training. So there's no room for error, no room for confusion on your end. Okay. Hope that is clear. Like, let me know in the chat box, because I want you to understand this concept as much as possible. Okay. Because what I'm sharing with you, okay, is going to be the difference maker in how you think. Okay. So like Shelly, she said, okay, agreed. Not putting fonts from here. We're going to be working on that once we've done. It's a quality of life update, right? Because we don't know what font you want. There's like some 300 fonts, let's say, you want to pick. How do we know? So we're going to first figure out other things before we get to this, correct? And that's going to be added into our advanced AI editor and stuff like that. Okay. So, hope that is there. So we are seeing your comments. That's the key thing I want to mention here. After this, we're going to go in and export all the comments and go one by one and make a note of the key features that were suggested. Because I hear you, right? Like when you're in a live stream environment, you took the time to write something. It's still more valuable to us because you still came here and took the time to be here. So it's really appreciated on that front. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to mention is the roadmap ahead for Artistly, because, sometimes I might not be here live. It's Ali or Sid or Yash, somebody else. What's the plan here? I just want you to understand millions of dollars are being invested right now across all our applications to make them better, faster, easier to use and stuff. And we're not skimping on money. We're not skimping on infrastructure. We're not skimping on the amount of reach that we want to get, how much usage you want to get out of it. The only way that we can grow is if you spread the word of mouth. You really believe there's nothing out there in terms of quality, price, in terms of ease of use, in terms of the training and stuff that we're giving, correct? So for that to work, we have to take in your feedback, of course, and all that, but also we got to throw the big bucks, right? Because right now, I don't consider our competition to be any small company, but the biggest of biggest companies, right? Let's say a Google with their Nano Banana, let's say, or a Midjourney, or let's say OpenAI. These are really big players, right? They have unlimited money, right? Unlimited amount of resources, unlimited talent, like the best of the best people working for them. The only way we can beat them is not on these things, but rather usability, right? Instead of doing 1,000 different things, we can do those 10 things, but do it perfectly. Those 10 things that will make it usable, right? 10 things that we are in the trenches doing, right? Not something that we just thought about, okay, we'll just copy this other person doing it, but actually really making it usable, something that is actually more where you're trying to publish something on social media and get results, not something where, okay, we're going to do 1,000 images we can generate and publish on social media, but not a single viewer will watch it because it's junk. What's the point? So wastage of resources, wastage of server resources on our end, wastage of your time, and then you'll give up too because it's not getting any results. You'll just say AI is a waste of time. Whatever, this thing didn't work out, I'll move on to something else, right? That's not fun. So it's all about like, okay, how do we take the time to make it properly done? And we're investing a lot of resources on that front. We are the only company, I just want you to understand very clearly, okay? So, because I want you to understand. We actually have an in-house machine learning AI team, okay? We have our own infrastructure we've invested a lot of money on. We've actually, every single day, we're doing R&D work, right? We're the only so-called one-time payment or whatever you want to call company which actually even does this, okay? We're doing the hard work. We're not shortcuts. And that means, in other words, we may make mistakes, but we're making breakthroughs as well at scale, right? And then the other thing is we're here for the long haul, right? I often see in our Facebook group, somebody posts like, Paul, I didn't hear from you for the last week. Does this mean it's a goodbye? because everybody knows it's hard to sustain for the pricing we offer and all that. I get it. But just understand that we're here for the long haul, right? We're not here for like a year or whatever. I've been in this business for 16 years. Hopefully we'll be here for another 15, 20, whatever years, right? So that means it's a commitment that we have to plan ahead of time. And that's what we are doing right now. So rest assured, okay? I just want to mention, we're not going anywhere. It's only going to get better. It's only going to allow you to get better quality, higher level of quality, higher volume of images you can create. Everything else will only get better with us as we are doing an internal team that keeps R&D and stuff is being done. Okay. And that is what sets us apart from everybody else, because what's going to happen with everybody else is like once the costs go up and the venture capital money dries up or whatever, they're going to disappear. And here's the thing. They're going to disappear with nobody to take the blame, right? That's the funny part. Here you have two people putting their face on the line, right? Their name, whatever. They have a community of people who can post and complain. They're not happy about something. These unknown, faceless, whatever companies out there, they'll be gone and you'll never even know who to complain about or whatever. They'll just shut shop and then open up some other thing later on. You'll not even know who was behind them and you're gone for good, right? I've seen that happen over the last few years, many, many, many times. And hey, failure is okay, but trust gone is gone for good. You know what I mean? Like at least if you fail, do it where you don't hurt the people who invested money in you, time in you, build a community around you and stuff, right? So that's the goal here. And that's why we are focusing a lot on that. That's why sometimes I may not be available on these live streams because I'm working on that, right? Every single day. That's what we're being focused on from my end, right? To make it more stable, get a better quality experience for you, more stable experience. Like if you look at Artistly from version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, it's been monumental, exponentially better. It's not like, okay, we made it 10% better. It's like infinitely better, right? Why? Because so much effort has been made to make sure that from all fronts, right? Whether it's money, capital, resources, infrastructure, team, quality of people training you, every element is covered. Okay. And that is what will set us apart also, because we're not taking shortcuts, right? We're looking at it from the long haul, right? And that's only going to make your experience better as well. Okay. So just want you to understand that, because we're doing the hard work. Okay. The tough challenges. It's not like we're just saying, okay, we're going to introduce something that we cannot sustain and you're going to have to remove it a month from now or whatever. And too bad, it is what it is. We're not looking at it from that perspective, looking what happens a year from now, what happens a couple of years from now, thinking already, planning ahead of time. Okay. So that hopefully will allow you to understand that your suggestions when we're putting it into play are something that we take very seriously, something that we really implement for the long haul, something that you will get to benefit for a long period of time. Okay. Kind of telling that in seriousness too, because so many fly-by-night companies out there, AI, like we know in the industry, like we know it's not sustainable, some of the stuff that they promise and they do, and then they'll be gone. And now you're going to be left with nothing to fall back on, correct? So that's the key thing. You'll see across the board what we are doing, and some of the features we've added in, you'll see it too, right? Some of the things we are improving our processes too as we go along. That's the key thing, right? Because we are in a stage where, okay, there's no real template to follow, right? It's like a new industry. Before we would update our application once every 3 months, every quarter, right? Quarter updates. Now it's every week, every 2 weeks, right? And it requires a certain type of skill set, a certain type of processes in place, and we're improving as well. And maybe tomorrow it's going to be everyday updates. I mean, that requires a different set of planning and processes and stuff to make it better for you, right? So that you don't get overwhelmed. You're like, that feature, there's 10 other features now. How do I learn that? Shouldn't be the case, right? Should be able to press a button and like, okay, this new feature looks good. Let me try it. And you should be able to use it, right? 90% of the time. That's the goal. Okay. So anyway, yeah, should see anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Just one little thing. I just got an idea, as we're already, right? Someone just sold like, ebooks, 5 ebooks, 6 ebooks, selling the cinematic ads and everything. What will be a good idea is, that green living off grid. We just got the comment, right? I was just went to your YouTube channel, right? And it gave me a really interesting idea. I'm going to share my screen, right, Paul? And this is Christy, right? So shout out to Christy. What we're going to do is going to be really, really powerful is as we teach and as we implement live breakdowns. What could you do better? How could you, implement those, when it comes to designing thumbnails, getting more reach, getting more views, getting more eyeballs, getting more reach, improvising on what you're already building, titles, thumbnails, and everything, to get most out of it. You see why? Because now, because you're implementing, you should be growing, right? And growth comes from feedback.
Feedback. Yeah. Let's open it up. I'll explain because I know this industry pretty good because I've written copy for this before in the past. So hey, this is a pretty. Hopefully, it'll be useful for you and
So,
everybody
Christy,
else.
this
Okay.
is for you. Yeah.
Okay. Who is this, Christy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Christy. So let's go click here. Okay. So what's your thing? Green living off grid, right? So that's the industry. Okay. So now everything is fundamentals in marketing, right? Like stuff, whether it's video, whether it is a product you're selling or whatever. So now what is your target market? Who is your target market? Let's discuss this. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Okay. One of the greatest copy ever written in the off-grid space for a solar company. Okay. This I know this because a friend of mine wrote for this one and was part of this company. Anyway, but like anyway, so the idea was they tested everything. They're like, solar has tax credits. They mentioned like basically if you put solar off grid, if let's say for example it'll be cheaper, correct? Because over time it's going to pay for itself or whatever. They've tried also where solar is green, right? It's better for the environment. Nothing converted. Okay, didn't do well. They changed the reframing, okay? What we like to call neuro linguistic programming, NLP, right? It's foundations of our marketing. What they changed, okay? I'll get to the hydroponics and stuff in just a second. What they changed is protect your family, okay? That is infinitely more powerful than saying save money, save taxes, or whatever, right? Like what is off the grid living? Why are you doing it? In case something falls apart, where like right now, inflation, cost of living has gone up. Groceries don't want to stock everything. During what we went through in the last few years ago, people shut down stuff. Like you had only certain choices. Well, what happens if your daughter, your grandmother, your mom, or whatever, right? Whoever is in a situation where they can find the product that they like, or they're in a situation where they can't go to the local grocery store to get fresh produce, right? Like right now, antibiotics and all kinds of junk in our food these days, right? Organic food costs more money. So what is it? Protect your family should be your major marketing hook. So you have hydroponics. What is hydroponics? So what do we have here? So what it's basically where you grow plants with water, right? And these are special plants that can grow on their own with fish underneath, right? And it's self-sustainable, meaning you don't spend that much money on let's say on fertilizers or on like maintenance and stuff. I get it. I know the market, right? So when you're trying to sell hydroponics, don't sell it to people who understand hydroponics. Sell it to people who've never heard about hydroponics. What is the benefit and stuff? You understand? So you want to switch your target market to that 95% of the people who've never heard about what hydroponics is. Those people, who are those guys and gals? Let's say, for example, I live in a one-bedroom apartment building in New York City or London, UK, right? I still want to grow my own plants. Let's say it's, for example, I want to grow lettuce, right, at home so I can eat it every day and it's fresh. Well, you can say, even if you live in a one-bedroom apartment, whatever, in these cities, you can still grow your own food in your one-bedroom or studio apartment using hydroponics. This is a compact hydroponics thing that will help you feed yourself, whatever foods it can grow, carrots or lettuce or whatever it can grow, right? And positioning has to be for that target market, okay? The biggest mistake we all make is we think our target market is people who know what we're talking about, but most people don't. If they don't even know about the product, how will they know how it does it benefit them, right? So you understand? Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box. So you'd want to position it to protect your family, first of all. Second thing is, if I, let's say, like I have a daughter or son, right? I have a son right now and 14 months. So let's say, for example, I'll never get my son to not have like the non-healthy food, right? Want organic food and stuff. Same concept, right? You see my point? So if you target it to me and you said, look, hydroponics is cheap to set up, it's fast to set up if you follow the thing, but more importantly, protect your family so that in case the food you like, it has too much antibiotics in it or all kinds of junk in it, and organic food costs 10 times more money or 5 times more money or whatever, always out of stock. And organic food also spoils quickly. You know what I mean? Like you put organic food in the fridge or whatever, it never works, right? Properly. Because why? Organic food is life cycle of it is only 3 days or whatever. What's better than having the plant in your own home, right? Or your own backyard, whatever. Second thing is that majority of the people think that it's too complicated to do organic farming or whatever. It's too complicated. It's not good for colder weather, all that stuff. Indoors, big thing, right? One of the biggest markets during the pandemic period was people were growing microgreens, right? They were growing all these microgreen foods and in their basements and in their houses. Well, that ran for a bit, but it died simply because of the fact that they were doing it for the money, right? Instead, if they said protect your family, right? Never have to run into a grocery store and it's something that your kid wants is too expensive. You cannot afford it. Instead of telling your kid, hey, I'm so sorry, honey, I cannot afford this. Just what if you told them, hey, we have it in our house, I'll build it for you, right? Don't worry. You'll never run short of it. I'll never, ever feel bad saying I cannot afford it. See the difference, right? In what we call reframing in marketing. Okay. So this is how you see this. Exactly. You sold me on it. See the point? So this is what we want to teach you. Okay. One of the funniest things was like, about a few years ago, we were teaching, folks just like this, right? And yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. So great point, right? So the point is like we were doing this stuff in like a few years ago. We were teaching folks like this industry could be this, and people used to tell me or Yash and stuff like, show it to us. You start teaching us, right? And we actually went into some industries and we killed it. Just teaching stuff that we already know in other industries and stuff because the fundamentals apply everywhere, right? You have the reference point and stuff like that. So the point I'm trying to make is small changes. Okay, not that difficult. One is go for the mass market of people who are not aware of your product, what the benefits of hydroponics is or whatever. Second thing is that you want to go for the mass market people who want to do what you're suggesting, that they think it's too complicated. Like say they live in a colder climate, or let's say they live in a 1-bedroom apartment building in New York City or whatever, like I mentioned, San Francisco. They have the money. It's not the lack of money. They're resourceful people. But point is they're like, I don't have the space. How can I do what you're suggesting? I don't have a backyard. I don't live in a farm somewhere, right? So these are the people you want to target. And the way you want to target is it goes beyond money, right? You want to go for family or never, like I would start it like this, okay? So if I'm writing it, right? I went to this grocery store. I wanted to buy the organic, whatever, carrots or lettuce or whatever.
Avocado.
We saw a roll of lettuce was $8. Okay. I went and told my little son, I'm sorry, I cannot afford it right now. We cannot afford it right now. Okay. And therefore, we decided not to go. And while I was driving back from the grocery store, I felt guilty, right? I felt guilty that I couldn't take care of my family just because of an $8 lettuce or whatever, and things are getting more expensive. Then I decided to take matters into my own hands and grow my own food so that I can never, ever tell that to my son or daughter or whatever, right? Again, much better way to present what you're talking about because everybody understands it. It hurts, right? It hurts. It's a fact. Like recently, like we see it every time, right? We go to the grocery store, we can't afford something we would love to eat because it's organic, costs like five times more money, and you're like, why? Why can't I grow it myself? That's the choice everybody thinks. Second thing is like same thing, like affordability. Let's say we go in and we're like, why is healthy stuff more expensive than unhealthy stuff, right? Should be the other way around. So these are the things everybody's going in their mind. So yeah, you want to think of it from that angle, okay? So hope that is clear. Does that make sense? So yeah, exactly. So this is the kind of stuff you let us know what you're working on. We'll be happy to assist you with stuff like this. But just keep this in the back of your mind always, okay? What works will always work, but understand everything has nuances to it, how you want to write it, and hope that helps. Okay, we'll talk about other markets as we go along. This is the thing we wanted to impart upon. It's a skill we've learned, right, over the years, working with so many different industries and working in our own business and stuff like that, right? Exactly. Pain points are what people get sold, right? And it has to be a story, right? So even like when you're trying to sell a storybook or whatever it is, what is in the benefit of the other person, right? In the case of storybooks, I'll tell you this last thing so you folks can understand, okay? The most powerful marketing thing, okay, besides fear of missing out or whatever we want to say, is this one word, right? I hope I pronounced it correctly. It's nostalgia, okay? What does that mean exactly? It means, say, for example, I am trying to sell a storybook, right, for children. Now, the target market is a grandpa, right, or grandma. Imagine why would they buy it? Nostalgia. They must have had their own son or daughter. They bought a storybook too back in the day, and they wondered, I wish it was personalized with that person's name or their face and stuff like that. But they never got around to creating it. Now they have a grandchild. They want to live that experience again, right? Nostalgia, the most powerful marketing term ever. So then you want to leverage that when you're trying to sell your storybooks. The target market, you want to, they don't care about money. It's not about time. It's not about money. It's about nostalgia. Like, what memory does it elicit in me, right? So one of the examples is, I'll give you an example so you folks can understand. It's something like kitchen utensils, right? Like spatula, stuff like that, right? At least you'll understand it better if I say it. Okay. Let's say I have a spatula, right? I want to sell a spatula. Like, there's two ways to do it. This is the best spatula because it's more efficient, cook faster, it's like heat proof, blah, blah, blah. Another one is, hey, remember that time grandma and you were in that kitchen cooking and baking that cupcake, and it was the most fun time of your life? Well, what if you could now share the same memories with your children or with your nephews or nieces or whatever? One is the features and benefits. One is nostalgia, right? The most powerful form of marketing out there that you can ever do, right? So different ways you can present things. And I would do it that way in storybooks, right? Same thing. Like, you want to elicit that memory, that good, vision people have, right? People want to think about things, how they could visualize using that product or so, right? So when we do the storybooks, for me personally, is this being able to read the storybook with my 14-month child, right? That for me is more worth it. That 1 hour spent with this storybook, for example, is worth a lot more than a few bucks, whatever, $20, $30, $40, whatever you end up spending, right? And once that memory is etched, you'll buy more of them, right? And you'll want to spend more. So same logic. It's not about, okay, it does better color. Who cares? Like, does it have better color? I don't care. Does it have better text fonts? Who cares, right? Does it have 50 pages or 30 pages? Nobody cares. It's the memory, right? Nostalgia. That's what we're like aiming for, right? Like these things. So same thing, right? You get the point. So this is what we're going to teach you as we go along, obviously, the points. But you have to kind of play along, so to speak, meaning you have to understand and internalize it, okay? Everybody's industry is different, right? So like, we have off the grid, I have experience because we work with some industries there. We work with a lot of different industries out there, but like, that's one of them too, okay? So you got the point. So you can let us know about your YouTube channels and all that kind of stuff. But customer psychology, right? The idea of like trying to persuade somebody to be able to take a decision, whether they want to buy a product, subscribe to your email list, or do whatever. It's the most important skill that you can learn. Even the AI era more so, because who's buying? Robots are not buying your products. Robots are not watching your videos. It's people. Right? And people are emotional, people are logical, people have memories and reference points in life and stuff, okay? So that's the basic idea I want you to understand, okay? And we'll go over other industries as well as we go along. But hopefully, Christy understood it. Christy, you found value in it, okay? Please understand that, like, I'm trying to tell you that at the end of the day, 95% of your customers don't know what hydroponics is. They don't know what off-the-grid living is. They think it's too complicated. They think it's out of their reach because they don't have enough space. They live in a colder climate, whatever. How do you reach them? These folks out there, they react to storytelling, right? They react to things that matter to them. It's not about money either, right? At a certain level, it's about how to protect their family, how to give the best to their children, their grandchildren, their family, right? And how do you present it in a way they can understand? Okay, so your thumbnail should have a father and a son, father, daughter, right? How to protect you, for example, mother, daughter, right? How do you protect your children to have the best quality food and stuff like that, and take matters into your own hands, right? These are the things you want to focus on. Even if you have fewer visitors, doesn't matter. You have 100 visitors to your YouTube video, doesn't matter, because those 100 people will connect to you, right? That's what matters these days, okay? I can show you so many examples these days where you're seeing where a channel which has, let's say, 5,000 views video will make more revenue than a channel which gets, let's say, 100,000, 200,000, 1 million users. Because one is entertainment, one is actually focused on actual value that they're providing, right? To usability or whatever for that person. And I'll take more targeted people with actual disposable income and not people who are just, scrolling up and down the video. So actually somebody who will pay attention to you any day of the week, right? So yeah, exactly. It's about finding your true audience. And we're going to help you with this as we go along. Okay. So yes, Brad, you found value in that, Christy. Okay. Excellent. All right. So yeah. Okay. That's pretty much it for today, folks. So we'll do more of these types of training sessions more if you enjoyed this type of stuff. It's on the fly, but it comes from experience, right? And we're going to be implementing some of these things, obviously, in our applications and stuff, and give you value accordingly from this way of things. And we cannot be in every industry anyways, right? So obviously what we can impart upon you will not something we can copy or implement because it's not our core business or whatever, but we can help you elevate your skills, okay? Along the way from this stuff. Because as I said, in an AI first era, those who understand customer psychology, those who understand basic way to present your product or service to people will be the winners, okay? That's not going to change anything, right? People will spend money on things. It's not robot spending, right? Who is the target market? What are their real pain points? What are their frustrations and stuff? And what is important to them, right? We do the same thing, okay? So that said, if there are any last pressing questions, we can answer them. We'll see you in the next training session. We'll have a replay up for this automatically. And of course, the bite-sized tutorial of this will be in the tutorials page as well. We'll post it in our Facebook group as well. If you haven't already joined the Facebook group, join them, of course, as well. I think I'll put up the link. I think this is the one. Twana.com/FP. You can go there. If you want, artistry/FP is also probably there. But anyway, this is one of the links you can go to join our group, our Facebook Meta, whatever group. You can join this, interact with like-minded people, that sort of thing. But yeah, yes, you want to close it out?
Yep, all good, guys. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with us. It really means a lot. And with that being said, our roadmap's pretty clear for the features and for the training. I'm super excited to see you in the next training with another fully packed golden nugget. Till then, take care of yourself, your family, and your health. We'll talk to you in the next week. Some crazy golden nugget.
Yeah. See you soon, folks. Take care.
Take care, guys.